Welcome to Fire Breathing Kittens, an actual play podcast. Every episode microplot is a complete adventure with a beginning and an end that fits into the overarching macroplot of the whole season. Because they stand sturdily on their own, you can listen to these adventures in any order and can skip any you don't enjoy. Today we are playing using the combat mechanics from a game called Space Knights. It's our first time playing, so we are guaranteed to make some mistakes. If you enjoy these mechanics, you can find Space Knights on Warbriel, that's warbriel.itch.io/space-knights. Build your own Space Knights order and play a game with friends. Speaking of friends, today we are joined by Chico.
Oh, hi there. Nice to meet you. I'm a 3'4" tall desert cottontail rabbit folk. I got tan fur, white chin and belly, and orange paws. I'm wearing a cotton shirt with denim overalls, a straw hat, and a backpack filled with straw.
Lothario.
Well, hey everybody. I am a 5'9" half elf. I got auburn hair about down to my shoulders with a crisp goatee, violet eyes, and cream-colored skin. Today, I'm sure you're wondering what I'm wearing. Well, I'm about to tell you. I'm wearing a navy blue frock coat. It's very, it keeps me cozy. It's got beautiful brass buttons on it, and I got boots that go almost all the way up, but not quite. But they're very tall boots. And then I got epaulets on the shoulders of my coat, as well as a tricorn hat to go with the ensemble. And of course my, puffy white shirt. That goes without saying. But I said it. But now you know.
Are the boots above knee or below knee? I must know.
They are well above knee to an uncomfortable, like it's fashionable, but it is not. We pay a price to be attractive and fashionable. You know what I'm saying?
And Luna.
Hey everybody, I'm going to be practicing my character voice on you today. You're going to be subject to this. I look like a person who comes to mow your lawn. And I have a little practice accent thing for you. A lawn mowing technician was backing up to leave. The neighbor leaned on the fence and asked, "How do you get their lawn to look so good?" The lawnmower leaned in and said, "That's on a need to mow basis."
Oh,
That's good.
Man. That's
Very good. All right, so today, adventurers, you find yourselves stepping off of a wagon onto the Fubi Plains. Nulasag handed you 3 passes to the Guaso Annual Junior Adventurers Festival. He told you that he had made agreements with an individual named Gerulf Artini that he was to send 3 adventurers to, there's a word I'm trying to think of, mentor. He sent you here to mentor a group of scouts who are looking to become junior adventurers and earn badges at the Junior Adventurers Festival. So you have arrived here. You are off the wagon. In front of you, you see a beautiful plain filled with all kinds of colorful tents. You have multiple groups of tents, and there are campfires set up. There's people, cooking hot dogs, making coffee on their campfires. It looks like in the distance past the tents, you can see a large obstacle course that has been set up. There's what look like to be some sort of structures, very small and concrete structures look like they've been built up. But ahead of you is the Adventurers Festival, and you're welcome to do what you like. What would you like to do?
Well, first, I would like to tip the wagon driver that brought us here, because I'm trying to be more magnanimous in my actions. So it helps. I mean, they say it helps with reputation, but that's not what I'm concerned about. It's not about image. It's about being a good person, so they feel important. So I'm going to lay a healthy 5 gold tip on the wagon driver and say, "Thank you very much. I tip my tricorn hat."
They graciously accept, and they tip their hat as well and drive on forward with a spring in their leads for the horses, reins. Not a spring in their step because they are not walking.
Chico's gonna jump out of the carriage and go, I'm going to try one of them things they're making over there right now. He's pointing at the hot dogs. I've never seen that before. He goes over and takes one of his hot dogs and asks for everything they're putting on him. And it's like, oh, this is real good. Starts chewing into it.
There's like a Malcolm in the Middle episode about Dewey feeding his bunny bacon, and I just can't not think of that right now. Oh, man.
As you approach, Chico, you see a familiar sight as you are eating this hot dog. You see two small, probably about 2 foot tall, desert cottontail looking rabbit folk. They seem to be much younger than you.
Oh, they're part of my clan?
They certainly look like it. In fact, a third rabbit folk approaches, quite larger, male rabbit folk, a very sheepish-looking individual, and he's like, Chico, we heard you were going to be here.
Is this my uncle? I can't remember his name.
Gene?
Uncle Gene?
Yes, it is. It is your Uncle
Gene.
Gene.
Hey there, Uncle Gene. I see there's a bunch of others here, too. What are y'all doing here?
Arlie told me I had to bring these two. The youngins are getting unruly ever since you turned down that marriage proposal, and she told them they needed some discipline, so we enrolled them in the Scouts, and I've been having to bring them.
Oh, that's incredible. Nice to hear that. Go ahead.
Sorry.
I got a mission to come here and help with something here at this festival. So I'm pretty sure I'm here to help with that. So that's incredible. That's great. Can't wait to help them.
This is your nephew and niece, Alvor Barrett and Karina Barrett. In front of you, Alvor Barrett is a little bit slightly older, probably about 12 years old in rabbit years, whatever those are. He's trying really hard to look. He's holding a hot dog and he's like cooking it, but he's looking like he's trying really hard to look unimpressed and like kind of over it. And he's like, oh, yeah, you're Chico, huh? I mean, I've kind of heard about you. You kind of did some cool stuff, but I'd rather be somewhere else. And then beside him is Corina Barrett, his younger sister. She has much darker fur, and it looks like around her eyes she has like a dark, almost like an eyeliner around her eyes, and she looks at you and she's like, Chico, it's so good to meet you. I've heard so many good stories about you.
Oh, yeah, I've done quite a bit myself, and done quite a bit with Fire Breather Kittens here, and that's why I'm here right now. I hear they need my help. Or y'all need help with something here at this festival?
And with them is a young human child wearing a pair of rabbit ears and and some overalls. Alvor Barrett looks over and says, Hop, come over here. This is our cousin, Chico. And you see this human child, blonde hair, blue-eyed, with a pair of rabbit ears, and he like hops over as best he can, and he's looking real hard like he's trying to impress you. And he's like, I've heard so many stories about you, Chico.
Oh, that's nice to hear. And Chico's eyes dart back and forth like, is this for real?
When I heard there was a Barrett clan squad in the troop, I had to join.
Oh, well, it's nice to know that my name's getting out to other people other than just my clan. That's nice to know. What's your name?
Harrison Stout. But they call me Hop now.
All right, Hop. Nice to meet you. And I shake his hand.
All right, and with that, what would Lothario and Luna like to do while this is happening?
Lothario, I thought that rabbits could not digest meat.
Yeah, I think he's going to have a difficult time later on, just from experience with herbivores. But we'll see. We'll keep tabs on him. We'll try to help him out.
I'm like finding out where the bathrooms are for no particular reason.
Yeah, I would say there's a group of outhouses on the side, off to the outskirts of the camp, probably on the eastern side of the camp.
Did I mention I have a lawnmower? I probably should have mentioned I have a lawnmower.
While this is happening, in fact, you happen to see a group of individuals. They are outside of some of the tents, and they have like spray paint cans, and they are spraying the side of the tent with like rude words.
I will approach them boldly, and I'll say, can you describe, who do I see? How many, what age, and any particular defining marks that could be used for law enforcement to track them down?
There is one individual at the lead. There are many kids of different sizes, and they're all wearing a particular jean jacket, which has a purple serpent embroidered on it. But there is one individual who stands out, much older than the rest, probably about 17 years of age or equivalent. A young demonkin with lavender skin, yellow snake-like irises, which are diamond-shaped, I believe. She's wearing grungy clothes, a denim jacket embroidered with a purple serpent on it, as well as a purple beret on her head. And she is the one holding the spray paint cans and like passing them out.
All right. I'll say, hey, baby, I do love your beret. It is the perfect color. It really helps your eyes come out. My name is Lothario. Could you give me the pleasure of knowing your name?
If you're here for the scout competition, I'm not interested.
Oh, no. I'm here for you.
Give me I know that we haven't got all our squads together yet, but give me a faith check. It would be 2d6 plus your faith attribute. Welcome to Space Knights, everybody. This is our first roll in Space Knights.
All right, so my faith attribute is a 2. And I rolled 2 3s.
So a 7 to 9, this would be 8 total. A
Correct,
7 to
yes.
9 is a partial success. So she will give you her first name, which is Sarmine. That's Sarmine. She'll say,
The name is Sarmine.
Ooh, I do like that name. Well, I suppose she wouldn't reciprocate with last name because I didn't say my last name. So I find this to be a meeting of peers, and that's fine. Okay, so back to the conversation. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Sarmine. I could not help but notice that y'all are painting stuff up with the spray paint cans. May I ask what your motivation is and what message you're trying to convey?
The scouts are corrupt. They kick people out who only try to tell the truth.
Oh, do you know this from personal experience, I assume?
I'm done talking about this.
she angrily tosses the spray can on the ground and storms off with her group. And as she storms off, another individual approaches you. A slender, 6 foot tall human. He has long brown hair. He's wearing a khaki cargo shorts with a khaki button-up shirt, and he has almost like an adventurer's pith helmet on his head, and a sash with like all kinds of different badges on it. And he comes over and he says, "Hello there. I couldn't help seeing you interacting with the delinquents around the area. Are you here for the Adventurers Festival?"
Yes, indeed. We are here to help mentor some potential junior adventurers. But before we get to that, I do want to ask you about these quote-unquote delinquents that you are referring to. What's their story?
We only recruit the best recruits, and those who can't handle the discipline of the scouts, we cannot help that they have to be kicked out. My name is Gerolf Artini. I'm guessing Nulaseg might have sent you.
Yes, I'm sorry, Gareth. My name is Lothario, and if you look over there, that's my friend Luna.
Oh, I'm not
And
there, though.
Well, I'm pointing.
Oh,
Can
yeah,
I see
you
you?
pointed it where I was. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to point it first, but then it's going to become an open-fingered wave like general direction. Over there generally is Luna, and then I will point to the hot dog eating contest and say, and there's my man Chico.
Chico will look over and just see you pointing at him, and he'll be talking to the 3 kids, and he'll just see you, and he'll just wave back. And he's going to grab his stomach like, ooh, and then you see him running off to the bathroom.
It's like, I shake my head and smile. I was like, yeah, that was going to happen.
If you will come this way, I have some recruits picked out for you for your troop. And your friend Luna as well, if you see her about the place. I don't see any sign of her, but if you'll come with me, I have some recruits for you.
Oh, I think I want these recruits. So when the teens stomp off and they like get huffy and bustle away from Lothario, they head in a direction, right?
Yes.
Okay. I want to be leaning against my ATV with a lawnmower attached to the back of it, flipping a gold coin in the air, looking at the gold coin, leaning against the ATV, and they like have to bump into me.
Okay.
I would like to be a bad influence.
Okay, so Sarmine looks at you and it's like,
You're in our way. We're trying to get through here.
You guys look like you could use a bit of money.
And I flip the gold coin to Sarmine.
and
And another one is flipping in my hand immediately like a magic trick.
I like where this is going. Give me a faith check with advantage.
I have no faith. And I think that works for me for this group. It would not work for me for any other group. I only have war, and so and a little bit of logistics. But that's my argument, GM, is that I don't think this group would be recruited with faith.
Okay.
I offer them war. I say, do you want a job?
I like the sound of this. What are you proposing?
I notice how good you are at art.
And my vehicle, and I look behind me, you know, I've got an ATV with lawnmower, is
Annoyingly boring. Could you decorate it for me?
Oh, absolutely.
maybe I give you a ride afterwards if you do a good job. And I give them all gold.
Do you have anything in mind for a color scheme?
I am not artistic. You pick.
So they go to work, got some spray cans, and they go to work. And now alongside Sarmine,
I want anarchy symbols, though.
alongside Sarmine, there is a black-scaled female dragonborn, probably about 15 years old, as well as a giantkin named Chonk. He is very large, with a big, giant blue arcane glowing club, and a large hippokin child named Opal. And they begin working on your ATV, and it's like a purple and blue color scheme, and then it has like a big anarchy symbol on the back, and there is also like a yellow like racing stripe across the side. It actually turns out pretty good. It looks like they've really been practicing with their graffiti work. And the black-scaled female dragonborn walks up to you, and she's like, this is quite unusual. Since we have been kicked out of the Scouts, no adults have been interested in working with us at all. I'm curious, this goes against all the Scout procedures. What has interested you in our group?
I am not a scout.
And society maybe do not have a word for me, what I do. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. Depends if they notice. But I will say, age, you kids, you remind me of myself at a certain age. Do you want to ride? And I would like to let them go with me. Like, 2 people can fit on the ATV at a time.
Actually, I have something for this. The black-scaled dragonborn looks at you. She's like, I think I like this partnership. My aunt, Bridget Hawk, actually made us our own ATVs, and she like signals to the giantkin, and he motions over where they have hidden their ATVs like behind some bushes, and they have like small ones that were made by Bixby Coppertongue.
I knew these kids were cool.
And they hop on their ATVs, and they're like, "Let's ride."
Yay. Okay, so back to the rest of the story, but I definitely want to show the kids how to like hit things with weapons out in the middle of the woods.
Would you like me to reread those names, or do you have them?
I got Chunk. I got
I got Opal for the hippokin, but
Yeah.
I never heard the Dragonborn name. I mean, not that I'm there.
The Dragonborn was Lithy, and then Chonk was the Giantkin, and Opal was the Hippokin.
Okay, so we got Lithy, Chunk. Chunk is an amazing name. Opal, and then their leader is Sarmine.
Yeah, so effectively your squad is going to be Lithy, Chunk, and Opal, and Sarmine is along for the ride.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, I'm taking those kids in the woods to try to hit targets because you have to hit a target. You know, it's like a skill to gain. And is it the best skill? Is it like math or science or reading or obedience? No, but it is a useful skill. So,
All right. So let's go back to Lothario. What would you like to do at this point, Lothario?
Well, I assume that I'm being led by Mr. Pith Helmet and Khaki Outfit. So I'm just following wherever he's directing, but I'm keeping an eye out on the bathroom to make sure Chico's okay.
Chico comes out and looks so relieved and hops back over
Okay.
to
I relax.
Yeah, Chico hops back over to Al Gore, Corina, and Harrison, aka Hop, and says, "All right, let's not eat any more of them hot dogs. They're not good for us. And Hop, here, I'll show you everything you need to know. I'll introduce you to some good eating." And they go hopping away. I imagine Hop's imitating them hopping on their way out to, like, I guess just the gardens or farms or whatever they have around here. It's a festival. I'm pretty sure they've got some wild things growing around someplace, and it's teaching them how to, just go and farm for vegetables and fill them with explosives, the works, Bear Clan.
All right, so as this is happening, Lothario, Geralt brings you to, well, first you pass quite a different group of scouts. Just want to introduce a few of your competition here. At this festival are also the Jishop Sirens. They are wearing dark navy uniforms with silver trim and silver buttons. The Gardilu Harlequins. They have very brightly colored purple and green colors with yellow diamond patterns on their uniform. They are being coached by an individual, a elf with dark tanned complexion. She has, even though her skin is rather tanned, it is it looks undamaged by the sun, very smooth and unwrinkled. Dark shoulder-length curly hair, green eyes, and about 5'9", and very toned muscles. Wearing overalls and a pair of well-worn brown boots. There's also the Mousel Cobras, which are wearing desert drab-colored clothing with a gray-colored scale embellishment, and they're being led by a large individual wearing gladiator leather armor and a red sash tied around his waist. He's quite a large individual with very big muscles. But as you pass these, you encounter a small group of 3 children that are currently pulling each other's hair and squabbling, but as Geralt arrives, they straighten up real quick, tidy up their uniforms, and they come to attention. And Geralt is like, Lothario, here are your scouts. This is Aurora Maryvine, Jameson Maryvine, and Frennick Maryvine. They are all 3 siblings. They can be quite a handful, but they are very dedicated to the scouts.
Well, I will introduce myself. I'll say, hello, Maryvines. My name is Lothario Bouchaki, and from what I understand, you will be my mentees, and I will be your mentor, and I will teach you everything you need to know to be a successful adventurer, not only professionally, but in your personal adventures. If you're, afraid to speak on stage, or perhaps there's that kid at school that you really like and you wanna be their friend, I'll help you.
Aurora, the oldest, has curly blondish brown hair and hazel eyes. She runs over to you real quick and she goes, Mr. Lothario.
Yes. Aurora, is it?
I can cross my eyes like this.
Oh. What? That is quite a skill. I cannot do that myself, so you are one up on me, young lady.
At this point, Frennick is looking around and says, Aurora stole my sash.
I'm so glad I'm not there.
Oh, yeah? What's your sash look like?
It's green, and you see that he's like holding it behind his back.
Uh-huh. Aurora, you know anything about this green sash? Like, maybe whose hand it might be in at the moment?
It's in his hand.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, look, young man, what you need to know is that when you try to cast blame on others, a lot of times you're just hiding responsibility for yourself. So, I'm going to help teach you to be an honorable person, not only so you can grow in a healthy manner, but in a way that people will want to be around you, you know?
I found it. He pulls it from behind his back and puts it back on.
Perfect. I'm so glad you are complete. So, and so I look at Geralt and say, is there some kind of guided thing that we need to do with these, junior adventurer candidates, or am I left to my own devices?
They have been working towards their minor badges. However, here soon we are going to start the festivities, and the first competition will begin for the final 3 badges of the festival. It is an elimination process, typically. So those who do not make it across the first challenge, which is a obstacle course, will be eliminated, and they will go back to their respective tents and finish the day camping and enjoying the day, perhaps. But the gong will go off soon, and we will line up at the obstacle course, and the festivities will begin.
Perfect. Thank you, Geralt. Hey, kids, you got that?
Yeah, we got it.
All right. So let's strategize. I mean, y'all want to win, right? I'm not with a bunch of folks that just want to kick back and relax, right?
Jameson, who is the middle of the 3 siblings, comes forward and kind of like pulls on your clothing a little bit. And he's like, Mr. Lothario, I don't want to hurt anybody.
Oh, no. Hurting people is the last thing we always want to do. That's only... We only hurt people as much as we need to help stop them from hurting other people. And in this competition, we ain't gonna have to do that. It's just an obstacle course. So you're challenging yourself. So you're gonna have to dig deep. And we're gonna go through that obstacle course, and it's gonna be fantastic. So, how are you with obstacle courses?
They all 3 look at each other, and they're like, our babysitter, Rowena, taught us to be really stealthy.
That's good. Sometimes the objective is clear, but the solution is not always what's put in front of you. So, we will use our minds, our brains, and we will work to find a path that gets us to our objective without all that nonsense of, relying too much on physical prowess. You feel me?
Yeah, I think I know what you mean. Sometimes you gotta outsmart somebody.
I don't like to think of it as outsmarting folks. More like exercising your creativity. I mean, we're trying to grow here, right? We're trying to be capable adventurers, so that is what we shall do.
All right, is there anything else y'all would like to do at this moment? With that, the first gong will sound, and the obstacle course, everybody will begin pushing towards the obstacle course. There is a large banner, and it says the Fubi Plains mile-long obstacle course. And in front of you, you see there is a large climbing wall. It looks like a really long, muddy, swampy-like area where there are rocks kind of like protruding up from the swamp water. Various rocks of different sizes. And then there seems to be some like tunnels that have like these rock pendulums that are currently beginning to swing back and forth inside of these tunnels. And finally, at the end, from where you can see, there is a like what looks like almost like a crystal pillar set up at the very end, and all the different squads are beginning to line up at the beginning of the obstacle course.
So it's 3 structures and then a crystal pillar as like the finish line?
Yes.
Okay. Got it.
So in seeing these obstacles, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Merivine children aside, and I'm going to get a stick, and I'm going to write in the dirt, like, hey, here's what we're going to do. And write. And I'm just going to leave it open to the imagination of the listener, what I'm writing.
Okay. But you are strategizing.
Oh, yes, indeed. I'm pointing. I'm looking at them, making eye contact so they feel included, and then writing with my stick in the dirt. And then I'll rub it away so no one else sees our strategization.
Right.
Chico is going to gather everyone around that's come by. So he's got, it would appear that he's got members of the Bear Clan, but also some people who are fans like Hop here. I imagine there are more like Hop around. Is that true?
Are you talking about scouts or?
Yeah, the scouts that I'm in control of. Or is Hop just the only one like?
I mean, there are some that have probably heard of you, but he, in particular, somehow heard a story and it really caught his imagination, and he just was so geared up in his fandom of the stories of Chico Barrett that he had to join the Rabbit Folk clan, or the Rabbit Folk scout squad. Sorry.
Okay. So I've got an idea in my head how we're going to approach the wall. Am I waiting until everyone else kind of gets an idea, or can I go ahead and say what I want to do?
I was just making sure, is everybody done with the things they want to do before we get started, or are y'all lining up right now? Are we ready to go?
I'm discussing with the Bear Clan and about how we'll be approaching this situation, kind of explaining all the stuff that's on my sheet, out of character, in character to them.
Luna, how are you handling this? Are you going to line up at the obstacle course, or what would you be doing during this time?
I'm talking to the kids. I'm way out in the middle of nowhere. We've ridden very far on our ATVs. And I'm saying, target practice is one of the 5 skills that you will need to survive in the wilderness. Procuring food is very important. You also need to know how to build shelter, start a fire, find drinking water. It's part of finding food in the 5. I count to 5. Foundational first aid and signaling for help. What would you like to be taught next? I can teach you how to build a fire.
Lithi, the Dragonborn, is kind of like taking notes diligently and is like, I would like to know about survival foods. I've heard that foraging can be very successful endeavor if you're trying to survive in the wilderness.
Jess, do you see this milkweed? The part of the milkweed before it is ripe, melts a bit like cheese if you put it in a pan. So we are going to pick these milkweed seed pods that are not yet ripe, and we are going to cook them over this fire that I'll teach you how to make.
Sarmine Croft comes over and kind of tugs or taps you on the shoulder and is like, I heard the gong go off. They're about to start the obstacle course. Would you be interested in taking our ATVs on the obstacle course and beating the other competitors?
What do they do after the obstacle course?
Well, if they're a scout, they earn a badge. But if we get there first, perhaps we can keep other people from getting badges.
So it is one obstacle course is the entire day's activities?
Oh, I see what you mean. No, there is a schedule of 3 possible events. There is the obstacle course, a chasm, what do they call it? A chasm that they have to cross, and a final battle where the teams compete for the final badge of the evening.
Okay, how about I feed you all of this milkweed cheese? We get full, we learn how to start a fire, and then we go to this chasm.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, so I've done target practice with them, and I've done starting a fire and gathering food. By the end of the day, I want to teach these forgotten, helpless children foundational first aid, signaling for help, and getting drinking water and building a shelter.
Okay.
And then they'll be like so much better off than all the like normies.
All right. Okay, so the obstacle course, everybody is lined up at the obstacle course. Chico and Lothario, are y'all ready to go?
Mm-hmm.
I believe so, yes.
Geralf Artini stands on a raised platform in front of the beginning of the obstacle course. He magically enhances his voice a bit and says, welcome to the Guaso Annual Junior Adventurers Festival, our first challenge of the evening for the final 3 badges. And now we will begin the obstacle course. I will fire this pistol and you will begin. Everybody lines up.
I got a question before he fires the pistol.
Yes.
I assume this is only for the junior adventurers and that coaches like myself will not be trudging through mud and dirtying up my outfit. Is that correct?
You are leading your team.
Oh, well, I'm glad I got the right boots on.
However you choose to lead, I guess that's up to you. But
No, I'll be in the thick of it. That's what a leader should do.
I did forget to mention at the top of this that the the reward for you guys helping assist in the Junior Adventurers Festival was 10,000 gold for everybody earning the final badge. Every coach that earns the final badge, as well as your guild gets the first one to the last one standing in the final event, or the first one to enter the tower that is like the main objective. They get top recruits, or like the first pick in like a intern draft from the junior adventurers. And that was the initial reason for being sent here to help. I forgot to mention that.
Well, Chico will definitely want to help out because he wants to help his clan become adventurers.
All right. And with that, Geralf readies his pistol, and he goes 3, 2, 1, and fires the pistol. And everybody is off. Real quick, let's roll. Let's make a war roll, which is 2d6 plus your war stat, and this will serve as our initiative for the obstacle course.
All right, I've got an 11.
I got a 4 total.
Whoa.
Hopefully, it's like golf.
All right, so
It was not, in fact, golf.
So with that, Chico, you have the first turn. So beside you, you have all these different scouting groups. You have the Gardilu Harlequins, the Jishop Sirens, and the Mousel Cobras.
First things first, I'm going to instruct, or let me speak in Chico's. All right, everyone, do what I told you. Get out them carrots and them potatoes, and let's throw them at the big guy over there. And I point at the Mousel Cobras with that large gladiator guy, and we're going to be throwing vegetables and trying to slow them down while making our way up the wall. So I'd like to make the move Always War.
Okay, go for it.
Be a 9 total.
Hey, that's pretty good, I think.
So let's see.
Not the best result, but
Choose one option and mark troops. Okay. Oh no, you fell off. A couple of my guys fall off as they're trying to throw it, losing their balance, but they're able to get one thing done. And one of the things I was trying to do, I choose one option. I'd like to choose destroy, protect, or occupy an objective. So my intention was to just throw things back. Oh, I also deal 1 damage to the Mousel Cobras as I'm making my way up there. But yeah, I'm trying to achieve the objective, which is to climb up the wall.
I got you. So yeah, you successfully climb up the wall. Mechanically, so for flavor story-wise, we're going to say that Hop, who is not as skilled as the Barrett clan at doing these ninja jumps and sick maneuvers, accidentally slips, and they don't manage to grab his hand, but as he does, you see he has like an anklet on that as he falls, it poofs out into like a bubble, and he falls safely to the land, but he is currently sort of incapacitated, stuck in this bubble, as you guys make your way up the wall and over, and you subdue the Mousel Cobras who are being held back by your onslaught of carrots and vegetables.
Chico looks back and sees that anklet activate with the bubble. It's like, oh, Are you able to make it? Oh no!
I forgot the NPC's name. Alvor, the oldest one, he's like, it'll be fine. The bubbles will be able to be deactivated after this round. He's not going to be hurt.
That's good to hear. Thank you.
That was really cool what we did with the vegetables, though.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then, with that, I'm going to have... The mouse cobras are being assaulted by vegetables. So I'm going to say they make it about halfway up the wall, but they're kind of stuck there. And then it is Lothario's turn.
Okay, so here's what I wrote in the dirt, just so I know you were wondering. Okay, I have slipped each of my competitors a bag of Gardiloo hot pepper powder. I carry it on me because I find the food in Nickemore is rather tasteless. I mean, no offense, but y'all got no spice. So I happen to have a bag of this spice, and I distribute it carefully to each of my junior adventurer candidates, and I say, this is not lethal, but it will slow them down. And then I point at the Chico's group. I say, don't do anything with them. They're on our side. But everybody else is fair game, except for the lady that's leading the Gardiloo Harlequins. And I yell, I say, hey, Shasta, is that you?
The lady with the curly black hair, or brown hair, I'm sorry, looks over kind of unamused and says, Sugar, I don't know a Shasta.
Okay. You got the same beautiful eyes as she does. I mean, we're not romantically involved, and I know we're trying to climb the wall, and this conversation can be probably had later. But then I turn to my little compatriots and say, okay, she's fair game too. She ain't my roommate. All right, so now, background on Lothario. When I was 15, I tried to join the Town Guard Academy. I wanted to, do what was right in my community, so I applied. I never graduated because there was some differences of opinion in how things should be pursued, we'll say. But as part of my training, we learned how to scale walls. That was part of it. So I communicate this. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to the base of the wall. I'm going to do my hands in a little bridge, and y'all going to step in the bridge, and I'm going to toss you over. But that's after you do your powder trick, okay? And so everybody's on board. The kids, I assume, listen and know. And I'm going to start oldest to youngest. So let's see if I wrote their names down properly. Aurora, Jameson, and I wrote Merrick. Is that correct?
Frenick. It's a weird
Frenick.
name. Yes.
Well, for all intents and purposes, I called him Frenick. So execute the plan. They go out to the various groups that are not the fire-breathing kittens mentor-mentee relationship groups. Use their powder, and then I'm at the wall with my hands ready, and I start launching people over the wall.
All right, so would you like to try and make a check against the others for this hot powder maneuver?
What? So I would consider that close combat, and I happen to be especially trained in close combat for the purposes of this game.
Yes, that's correct.
Just for the listener at home, I picked a company of squires. And one of the things I picked was weapons. And if you pick weapons, you get an advantage in close combat, which, as it turns out, this is. So my weapon is Gardiloo hot pepper powder. And we're going to see how this goes. So do I need, should I roll? What would you like me to do, GM?
It would be 2d6, and you're attempting to assault them, basically, so it's make war, correct? And then
yes.
And then you're using your close combat, so that would be an extra d6, and you drop the lowest.
Okay.
You essentially have advantage on the roll.
Okay. So, I got a 10 plus, I got 1 war, so that's 11.
And 11. So, under make war, it says on a 10 plus, you choose 2 options off the list. Do you see the list?
I don't.
Okay, I'll read them.
I'll
just read them off to you. You kill many enemies, add 1 to damage. Destroy, protect, or occupy an objective. Explain your deeds and mark glory. You do not cause collateral damage or put others in danger. You can pick 2 off the list of 4.
And really, it's just 3 because glory is how we level up. So it's add 1 to damage, destroy, protect, or occupy an objective, or don't cause collateral damage.
I could...
So
I'm not
pick
sure
one
what
you
to
don't
choose.
want.
Okay. I would say occupy. I mean, I don't need to... We're not fortifying this wall, so I don't need that one. So I will affect them, damage them, and also not get blowback, because when you're blowing powder on somebody, the wind blows right, it's a disaster.
For occupy, for this purpose, we can say, like Chico said, where you cross the wall. Instead of occupying it, you've crossed the wall, you've done that, as well as damage the enemy. Does that make sense, if that works?
Yes, then I will pick those 2 then.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, so you already do 1 base damage. Who are the 2 troops you specifically wanted to target with this?
Well, I did see, since Chico went first, I saw him attack the Cobra group. So I'm going to go, let's see, the Harlequin group and the Sirens. The Jishop Sirens and the Godilu Harlequins.
All right, that sounds good.
I'll try to knock them out and then start launching kids over. Hopefully, it's a soft ground. I didn't anticipate what the other side of the wall would be like, but hopefully it's hay or something like that.
The leader of the Harlequin, the Garlu Harlequins, she sees this happening, and one of her troops pops in a bubble as the pepper powder gets the best of them, and she looks at you, and she's holding this long sort of like pole like you would use to guide a raft through a swampy area, and she says, "Sugar, that's dirty pool." and then a Jishop, again, they have an individual that gets hurt by this pepper powder as well, and you guys have no issues climbing over the wall. You have beat the first obstacle, and then we'll be back up to Chico.
Can I do something?
Yeah, I'm sorry, sure.
Opal, what an excellent water collection system. This will trap 2. You have a natural talent, an affinity for water,
I say to the hippo.
Her ears kind of flap happily, and she's like, I really enjoy working with water and aquatic animals.
I am so glad that we took this break. So, off to the ravine. I shall teach you how to build a shelter against a wall. A rock wall is an excellent insulator and protects you against the wind and potentially monsters.
So, which way are you heading for a rock wall?
You said the second event was a ravine, right?
Yeah, so I said ravine, but I didn't speak the right words. Essentially, there are 2 large platforms built on either side of the obstacle course, and they are raised platforms above the obstacle course. And the intention is that the scouts have to find a way to cross.
Oh, so it's not like a canyon.
Yeah, I should have used a different word, but it's essentially just 2 large platforms separated by about 100 feet from each other. But there is a ladder you can climb to get up there.
Ah. I mean, my ultimate goal is to mess up the obstacle games and stuff because, they kicked us out, so we're going to destroy their fun. But, I wanted to do that in a little bit more natural way. So I'll think about it some more. I don't know, maybe I show up and I see that it's not a ravine and I say, "Oh, well, children." No, I wouldn't call them that. They need respect or they won't obey me. I will say, "Lethe, Chunk, Opal, if you're in a ravine and you see a rock wall, build a wood shelter around the rock wall, and then you only have 1 less wall to build. But we are here. What do you want to do?" And they definitely want to play on it. So I think that we would be playing on it when your event finishes and you show up, if that makes sense. Because you said it's a mile-long obstacle course, so you're not there yet?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm training the kids on it. I'm like, "Well, you might as well train across the ravine. I'll catch you if you fall off, probably. Go."
I was going to say you could, if you were interested, find a way to remove the ladders and make it difficult for anybody to reach the top of these platforms.
Now you're thinking. Yeah. I mean, my little anarchy mob does that. And I'm like, "Oh, good job. Good idea." Lethe, how clever. Lethe's the one who removed the rope ladders.
All right. So with that, we will go back to Chico.
Yep. So the next obstacle is, you said the ravine. I thought it was wait. So inside the ravine, there's it's muddy and has rocks and everything. Is that how you described it?
The next obstacle is like a swampy area. It's swampy with like large rocks of different sizes. Have you ever seen those Japanese competitions where they had multiple different obstacle courses, and one of them had stones that if you step on them, they sink or they float depending on which one you step on?
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yep.
So you haven't crossed it yet, but you get a feeling that this is a treacherous, like swampy pit that's going to be difficult to find footing in, if that makes sense.
I'm going to, or Chico's going to turn to his company. All right, everyone. Remember your training from the Bear Clan, and everyone else who's new here, follow in everyone's steps. And I'm going to perform movement and maneuver to move through this difficult terrain. And I actually have, since one of my classes is assault, or company types, one of my types is assault, I actually get advantage. Wait. No, I choose one less option. So there are options that you choose. Let me go ahead and roll first, and I'll explain it as I do it. So, and this is going to be with logistics. So 2d6 plus logistics. Oh, okay. I got 2 1s, so that's a 5 total. Ooh. So I failed that. So
yeah, I believe I get to make a hard move on this one. Let's see.
One of his kids dies.
Not that hard a move.
So we failed that completely. It doesn't say what happens when you fail, but I'm pretty sure all 3 of those things happen. Well, you expose yourself to danger, you leave something important behind, and takes much longer than expected. So, So Chico says, all right, everyone, remember your training. Just immediately just hops in and then face plants, and all the members of the Chico clan start screaming and flailing around. We're not going anywhere. We're not used to water.
So what I'm gonna have happen here, because I'm gonna take a hard move. So the overall mechanic of the Space Knights is you roll 2d6 plus an attribute. If it's under 6 is a failure, and I usually get to make a hard move on a real failure. So for this one, I will say that the Mousel Cobras, who have had their eye on you this whole time because you held them up at the beginning, have now caught up to your troop and are now currently making their way through the... they haven't gotten ahead of you, but they have caught up to the amount that you pushed them back. Does that make sense? They're now up, neck and neck with you. And you take 1 troop damage as, we'll say... actually, in this case, I will say this. You're going to take a supply off of your sheet.
Okay.
The troop is mucking their way through this kind of marshy landscape, and their scout kits and stuff like that are getting stuck in the mud, and they can't get their resources and like utility knives and things that they might need in the future are kind of getting trapped in the mud. So
Chico looks back and yells at him, all right, don't worry about that. We can resupply later. That's what we're built for. We're the Bear Clan.
So you are kind of stuck in the mud, as it were, as you guys made a few bad choices on your hopping on these stones and kind of got stuck in the mud. So, so that is Chico. And then the Mousel Cobras have caught up to you, and the Garlu Harlequins have just gotten over the wall, we'll say. And then it'll be Lothario's turn.
Okay, so I see the Harlequins coming over the wall. I'm like, we better skedaddle. So I tell my young squires that watch where the rabbits go, jump on the stones that are safe, and if you see them fall, don't jump on that stone. So we're just going to follow them. But me, I'm going to go alongside them in the mud, because see, being from Gardilu, the marshes, I'm at home, and I got the right boots on. I didn't even anticipate this. So I'm going to walk just I can travel normal speed through marshy conditions. So as they're on the rocks, they're not ready for this. But I do want to wow them at the same time. So I'm going to be walking alongside. They're going to be following Chico's clan or his squad, and then we're going to try to get across.
All right. So unless you have another idea on what roll you should make, it's probably going to be a movement and maneuver roll.
Yeah, I believe that's accurate.
I will give you a +1 on this roll just because you did see where some of the pitfalls were. So just as a little added bonus, since you've witnessed Chico getting stuck in this mud.
All right. So what attribute? I guess that would be logistics.
Yes, that's correct. Logistics.
Okay. I got an 11.
Oh, nice. You choose one off the list.
All right. What was the question as far as you said? What move am I going to do?
No, it's movement and maneuver, and you have a little list there, and you choose one off the list.
I will say that it takes much longer than expected. I think that would probably fit the best.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's a good one. Also, you notice as this is happening, this isn't a mechanically negative thing that's happening, but just as flavor, Frenick had happened to get into some of that powder and was wanting to like try it, and has gotten it in his eyes because it stuck to his fingers, and he's like crying profusely, and he's like, "It's so hot." And maybe this like slowed you down a little bit as y'all were trying to get him to like follow your path.
I will. There's an old swamp remedy, and I'll go ahead and scoop some of the goo that I'm traveling through and rub it on his eyes to help neutralize the spice. Now, at home, listeners, don't do this. It will expose you to bacterial infection in your eyes. Very sensitive. You should use milk or some other oil-based fat thing to neutralize. Anyway, so I don't have milk. That's a bad thing to have in the swamp. So I'm going to assume the goo in this universe does the same thing.
He's into this. He sees it as war paint, and he's like smearing his face with mud. He forgets about the pain, and you guys move forward. You make it to the other side. You do slow down a little bit, but at this point, it's minimal negative problems. So with that, let's go back to Luna. Luna, is there anything you're doing while this is happening?
I've got the kids. They're vandalizing the ravine, air quotes. You know, I mean, Lethe, the black-scaled dragonborn, has pulled up the rope. Chonk, the giantkin, is testing the strength of the boards. Opal, the hippokin, is, she's repurposed the rope bridges into swinging, you know, from one end to the other. Yeah, like Spider-Man, she's tying like a rope system. And I'm teaching Sarmine about how to do basic first aid. So Sarmine and I are way at the top. We're above, you know, because we were above there before the rope bridges got pulled up. And I'm teaching her how to wrap an ace bandage properly so that you don't cut off blood flow.
Sarmine at this point kind of looks at you and begins to open up to you a little bit, and she's like,
Luna, we got kicked from the scouts because I saw something illicit happening amongst the scouts, and I spoke up and I was admonished for it. And it seems like you, unlike many adults, are willing to listen and speak to us, and I've been holding this back from a lot of people because it seems at every turn when I have spoken, people have shut me out.
Just because people don't see you as Jew doesn't mean that you don't have value. It means that they are blind.
There was an individual in red robes speaking with Geralf Artini. They exchanged gold, and I don't know what transpired, but it didn't seem above board to me.
Well, you know, I mean, terrible fashion sense is not a crime.
and with
Is
that,
it possible that they were funding this? I mean, you know, who paid for these rope bridges? But who did you speak to about this?
I went to Geralf himself.
Oh, okay, 101. You collect the evidence, you back up the evidence, you take it to a neutral third party, two of them at the same time. I teach you how to whistleblow.
This is good advice. Thank you.
Especially if you find someone who do not like Geralt. You take it to that person. Don't take it to Geralt himself. Okay, so who do not like Geralt?
I don't know. He's pretty respected by lots of scouts and their managers.
Jess, the veneer of respectability oftentimes is our enemy. So, we ask who is not controlled by and would have no ability to be punished directly by Geralt, an independent party. I think Uncle Jean, Jess, he is part of the Barrett clan. It no matter to him if Geralt no like him. So, perhaps we get in. Oh, there was that the lady with the curly brown hair. Who is she?
I'm not sure. She was the scoutmaster of the Harlequin, the Gardy-Lou Harlequins.
Okay, so these two people, you get them together. So they both, together, neither one of them able to say they lie about it later. You tell both of them at the same time about the red robe thing, yeah?
That's good advice. Perhaps we can do it after this next competition completes.
Okay, let's, Opal. Excellent Spider-Man. Swinging thing. I like it. Very creative. Do you know rope tying is an important skill? Let me show you some ropes. So I'm going to show her how to tie stuff, and then we're going to, put it back to where it was and climb down and wait for the lady with the curly brown hair who's the leader of the Gardy-Lou Harlequins and the Jean Barrett person. We're going to wait for them, and we're going to try to catch them in between events.
Okay. All right.
And in the meantime, I'm going to teach them how to make an aerial visible signal for help.
Okay. Like a smoke signal, or are we talking semaphage with flags and stuff? No, you said aerial.
Crop signs. I got to teach them how to vandalize stuff at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I got
definitely.
you.
We're in the plains.
I got you.
I'm going to show them the board technique.
All right. Awesome.
This is also just a fun hobby. But also if you need to write SOS, So, yeah, and that's my plan, Game Master. I would like to, in between events, so we've restored the rope bridge thing. I want to get the lady with the curly brown hair, who's the leader of the Gardy-Lou Harlequins, and Uncle Jean together. Maybe like I wait outside the bathrooms or something, but we do not want it to be seen by Geralt Artini, so I'm going to be teaching them stealth.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That sounds like a good plan. Oh, and by the way, Chunk, actually, his weapon, I forgot to mention, but it can turn into like multiple different shapes of different weapons. So, like, he literally is like turning it into a giant crowbar and prying boards loose for you guys to use and all kinds of different stuff.
We leave the ravine mostly intact.
All right. So, with that, we'll go back to Chico.
Mm-hmm. So have I technically finished the second obstacle course, the
yes, you
muddy
have,
water? Okay.
You completed it, but at the cost of the Mousel Cobras and other people catching up to you. So your lead is kind of not so great. Well, I will say you're just completing it as this starts. So, but yeah, you're kind of neck and neck with the Mousel Cobras.
All right, everyone, time to get into some tactics and help our buddies back there that are trying to help us. And he's motioning to Lothario's company. All right, everyone, let's swing this pendulum a little harder now. So Chico is going to instruct his company to throw explosives at those swinging pendulums, is I believe what you said we're coming up to next.
Yes, that's correct. They're large. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
They are large stone tunnels, and inside are these stone pendulums that are swinging back and forth. Some slower than others, kind of like in an erratic pattern to make it very difficult to maneuver through.
So I'm going to roll Always War with the intention of course, making it through, but also using explosives to hit those pendulums and make them start swinging harder and faster. And I'm also going to leave behind one of my troops, just one of my I'm not using my troops thing. I'm just sitting behind one of the members of the Bear Clan, back with a message to Lothario to give him an advantage using Infiltrator, because I do have Infiltration Expert as one of my abilities, or that's one of my capacities. I believe is what's called. So I'm going to use that because I believe everyone in our order here has infiltrators. So I'm going to use my capacity for infiltration expert to help Lothario get through it in case he wants to use it.
Yeah, you
to
don't...
maneuver around those heavy swinging pendulums, because that's my intention. So I'm going to roll always ward to have all that play out.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and make your roll.
2d6 plus 3. Okay, that's an 8. So small success, let's see. I choose one option. So I'm going to, let's see. Yep, destroy, protect, or occupy an objective. So I'm going to make my way up there, make my way through it, and leave that behind for Lothario. All right, everyone, throw them potatoes at the pendulums. Make them start swinging harder as we're making their way through. And I deal 1 damage to whoever was behind me, so that would deal 1 more damage to the cobras.
In this case, I believe the damage would be going towards the obstacle itself.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that what you were trying to accomplish?
I was using explosives to swing the pendulums faster. I'm not trying to destroy the obstacles.
Oh, you were just trying to make it more difficult for somebody else to come behind you.
Yeah.
So, but still, I think in this case, the damage would be absorbed by the actual tunnel itself. Like
That's fine.
You completed that, but you've sacrificed your explosive device for that.
Mm-hmm.
You also, unfortunately, because you rolled an 8?
An 8.
You also are supposed to mark troops, which in this case, I'm going to say the younger sister, Corina Barrett, is in the as you guys are crossing through the pendulums, nearly gets hit by one of these pendulums and pops into her bubble and is stuck in the tunnel, kind of occluding it.
Corina, no! That marks troops?
Yes. It says, because it says choose one option and mark troops. And you chose your option, which was to destroy, protect, or occupy an objective. But you managed to make it through the tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
And you have made it more difficult for the people coming behind you.
Mm. And also the intention with sending back a messenger was to let Lothario know that he can use infiltration, I guess, as an advantage to get around this, to know the idea.
All right. So with that, the Mouse Cobras are doing their best to come behind you. You've sped up the pendulums, causing them a little more difficulty. And then it is Lothario's turn.
So, having worked with Chico in the past, I know his style. And so I see what's happening and I go, aha, okay. And so I spread the message to the Merivine children and say, this is what we're going to do. We're going to infiltrate, but you got to be careful. Now, GM, may I ask, regarding the pendulums, are they coming toward us and away from us? Like in line with the direction of the tunnel, or are they somehow orthogonal, going left and right?
No, yeah, they're swinging inside. Essentially, there's like gaps cut into these tunnels where the stone pendulums are allowed to swing in between, going perpendicular to the actual tunnel itself.
Okay, that's good to know. All right, and so I will use the infiltrator move and help my little ones try to get through as well. Go ahead and roll. And is that plus logistics? I'm sorry.
So I think it can be applied to anything if you narratively use it correctly. So okay. I will say, but if you want to make logistics work, it will work in this case because that's movement and maneuver, which is basically you're doing your best to navigate these pendulums without damage.
Getting smushed?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So with that roll, I got, let me see, a 12.
Oh, not to interrupt. Did you give yourself advantage with that roll?
Oh, I did.
Okay.
Because you indicated, based on your help, that I was able to do so. GM, is that
that's
okay?
Right. Yeah, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
And you rolled it right. You rolled 3d6 and then took away the lesser?
I certainly did. And I'm
cool.
Let me take this time to say thank you for that advantage, because this would have been a very different story had I not had it.
All right, so you still have to choose one off the list, which the three options are: you expose yourself to danger, leave something important behind, or it takes you much longer than expected.
I'm trying to help these children, these future adventurers. I shouldn't just label them as children, to use their minds and be patient and to strike when the time is right. So I'm going to pick again. It takes me much longer than expected because I want to ensure the safety of these young people.
Okay, much longer than expected. All right. So you have successfully navigated the pendulums, and it still looks like Chico, and it looks like you and Chico are neck and neck, and the Mousel Cobras are just behind, and then we'll say the Gardelu Harlequins are behind them, and the Bishop Sirens at this point, it's complete chaos. It looks like whoever their troop leader isn't even on the field, and the Bishop Sirens are just arguing with each other, and they're like still stuck in the mud of the prior obstacle, and it's just a total nightmare. So we will go back to Luna real quick. We are about done with the obstacle course. You guys both traverse the final obstacle. But is there anything you want to do, Luna, before they complete this?
I'm on a quest, but it's not your kind of quest. My quest is to help these little kicked out kids feel good about themselves. I'm identifying the individuals involved here and looking for the red-robed person when they're not in their red robe. Obviously, if they're wearing a red robe, I want to identify them, right? But I'm teaching the kids sneaky. We're in a plains, right? So I've got them all doing groundskeeper work.
Okay.
Maintaining the plains. It's actually a lot of the time spent in outdoor stuff is just like maintaining the ground. Because otherwise, it's not a road. If you put your foot down on it too many times, it turns into like a rut and then a mud puddle in it. So it's very difficult. Can you just tell me about the crowd, GM?
So at the moment, the majority of the scouts and their people are on the obstacle course. I would say the people that are still there are family members of. Gene is probably still in the camp himself. If you want to approach him, Geralf Artini is not, however, because he is floating over the thing itself. And the only clue so far that you've gotten about the red individual is that he was caught talking with Geralf. But if you want to speak to Gene, he is available at the moment.
Yes or no question. Is there anybody with a red robe walking around?
No, not at the moment. Not visible.
Okay. I guess what I can do is I can try to get Gene and the lady with the curly brown hair. Can I have her name, please?
Yeah, it was Louise.
Okay. So I want to get Gene and Louise together.
The only issue with that is she's still in the obstacle course at the moment.
Okay, but Gene's not?
Gene is not.
Okay. So I want to go up to Gene, just be like, hello?
Yes, how can I help you?
I was wondering if I could talk to you, perhaps do you see that symbol that is carved in the field over there?
I do.
Okay, maybe like 20 minutes from now, could you be at the symbol and we can have a talk?
I guess so.
Okay, and then I'm going to try to wait for Luis at the end of the obstacle course, which I think should end in less than 20 minutes, right?
Yeah, we're about to wrap that up.
All right, the moment that she gets done with the obstacle course, I want to ask her to meet me in that field as well. And then I'm going to instruct the kids to hide in the field.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Sounds good. Okay, so with that, Chico and Lothario, you guys arrive at this crystal pedestal. You get through the pendulums, and you're just standing there. And as you guys arrive, it's kind of glowing. It's like pulsing with light a little bit.
I would like to... Go ahead, Chico, sorry.
All right, I'm going to touch it.
All right, you reach out, and as you touch this pedestal, all of your scouts, their badge appears on their sash, and it appears to be... Man, I have this somewhere. It's a wolf in front of a mountain kind of howling into the air. And it's on a blue background. It's like a green wolf on a blue background. And it instantly appears on all of their sashes.
Well, that's pretty neat. Instantly appearing badges when we finish an objective. That's nice.
Having seen what Chico has done, I instruct my scouts to go ahead and touch the pedestal. And hopefully the same thing will happen to them.
Yeah, the exact same thing happens. Their sashes, they get the badge that appears on them. And as you guys are doing this, the large, muscular scoutmaster for the Mousel Cobras has forced his group through, and they come and touch theirs. And basically everybody except for the Jishop Sirens, who have dejectedly are making their way back to camp covered in mud. But at this point, all of you are at the finish line except for the Jishop Sirens. And Luna, you approach Louise Riplin.
Yeah. I wait until her kids are past the finish line, and she has congratulated them, and she's got a moment.
How can I help you, Sugar?
I thought you did a fantastic job. Congratulations. I didn't see it. Congratulations. Do you mind if I speak to you about a thing? Is it okay if we talk by ourselves? I want to talk over in that field right there. Is that okay? Just you and me.
I don't see why not.
All right. I'm going to take her over to the field. Is Jean there?
Yes, he is.
Okay, my kids are waiting, watching, observing, but the adults don't know they're there. And I say to Uncle Jean and the lady with the curly brown hair, Louise, the leader of the Gardelu Harlequins, I say,
You guys did such an amazing job. Wow.
Ain't no muddy swamp gonna stop me, honey.
Do you know, I was wondering, how is all of this paid for? This must be very expensive.
very expensive. I don't know. Don't judge me. All right.
I believe the Eastinghouse Company is the ones that provided the protective bubbles for the kids. However, we also have to pay dues as scout members. There are many drives throughout the year to, collect funds, bake-offs, and different things to sell to the community in order to raise funds.
I take out a very large amount of gold that I am holding in my hand, and I attempt to hand it to the lady, and I say,
I would love to sponsor you as well. Is it okay if I simply hand this to you?
I don't need any of your money, honey. Is there something that you would like me to do for you?
Let's try this again. I look at Uncle Jean, and I just attempt to hand him a bunch of gold to sponsor the children's activities today. And I say, you're doing such an amazing job with the kids. And I literally have a bunch of gold. I'm trying to replicate the situation with the red-robed person, but I'm like to inspire their ethics code, because they're like, no, there's some paperwork you got to fill out. I can't just take your gold. That's my goal here. That's my angle, GM, is to see what a normal response is. Is it normal for a person to accept a lot of gold in the service of these children's activities, to just receive a handful of cash?
I see what you're saying.
I'm trying to prompt the ethics. No, don't hand me that. Which real life would happen if you tried to just pay a city worker. I'm paying the city of Nicomoy. My property taxes hands them gold. No, you can't do that. Anyway, so I'm trying to hand Uncle Jean a bunch of gold.
Jean looks like he wants to take it, but then he's like, Aunt Arlie would want me to know what this is for.
The children's activities today. Do I sponsor you like the Eastinghouse Company by just handing you gold?
I do not represent the Eastinghouse Company. I'm sorry.
No, similar to how the Eastinghouse Company sponsored you. How do these sponsorships happen? Do I just hand you gold? I want to support you and the children.
As this is happening, a large, muscular individual wearing leather guardian or gladiator-style armor with a red sash kind of pushes his way out of the crowd, and at the
we are in the middle of a field.
He seems to have followed you, and he comes over and he's like, I heard you were offering some money for sponsorship.
That guy's got some good hearing.
What the actual heck is going on?
Jess, what is the proper procedure for offering money to sponsor this wonderful event that you are having today?
I think I can connect you with a contact if you're interested.
Okay. Who is that contact? I say without moving my feet.
I would like the record to state, while all this is happening, I'm lighting up a cigarette and just chilling by the pedestal.
Your smoking is going to kill you one day.
She's probably right, but You only live once.
He pulls you to the side, and he's like,
My feet are not moving.
"Oh, I got you."
If he touches me, I'm going to flinch visibly.
I have a friend named Barnabas. I think he would be interested in this proposition.
Oh, is Barnabas the treasurer for this scout organization?
I'm afraid I do not know the treasurer.
Then what is Barnabas?
He's just a friend.
Why would he accept money for the scout organization?
He's always interested in money.
Yes, most people are, but this is for the scout organization. Does Barnabas have any affiliation with it?
I think you need to make a roll for this.
Yeah. I think when I want to convince, order, and intimidate another faction that I'm not at war with yet is faith in the name of humankind.
Flexible tactics, when things get serious and when your warriors need to keep their cool, tell the Space Master what situation you want to avoid and roll 2d6 plus faith.
Okay. That's just a flat 2d6. That's a 3. That's right. That was a 1 and a 2 on the dice, and I have no faith.
You can mark supply and re-roll a die if you would like.
Wait, I don't want to mark a supply because if I re-roll the 1, if I get a 6, that's still an 8, which is still the failure condition. So, like, the only way to get a success is with a 10. So, with 2 dice, that means I'd have to get, like, a 6 and a 4 or a 5 and a 5. And since I got a 1 and a 2, I'd have to re-roll both dice to possibly succeed. So, I'm not going to mark supplies because math.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, with a 1 and a 2, there's no re-rolling of a single dice that'll push this into a success.
All right, this individual looks at you and says, I'm Thwabin, and I can set up a meeting for you if you're interested.
Oh, Juno, thank you. I do love giving gold to people for no reason, but I was trying to donate to the scouts, so I'm good. Well, it was nice talking to you, Jean and Luis. I see that you have a very above-board organization here with the proper paperwork and everything. Have a good one. And I'm going to leave the gold in Jean's hand because I like making him feel awkward. And walk away. Goodbye. Unless they want to attack me, which they can. They can physically attack me, but I'm going to just leave the field.
I think everyone
and hopefully my kids follow me.
I think everyone kind of just looks awkwardly at each other, and I think at that point we're going to take our break. All right, so with that, we have been joined by Chico.
Well, this has been an exciting adventure. I really do enjoy these missions where I go out and have some fun.
Lothario.
It's good to be a paragon of clarity for these young adventurers. And then I take another drag.
And Luna.
Sorry, mine? You all right? There is something fishy going on here.
And I believe, Lothario, you have a review for us?
Oh, and indeed I do. So, this review comes from J-Son-51. So, J-Son-51. It says, best podcast I've heard, and that is with an exclamation point, so you know it's for real. I love the adventures and characters and how they are different each time. Keep exploring different games as it helps me learn what all is out there outside of D&D. 5 stars. Oh, well, thank you very much, Jason51, and for all y'all out there that wanna give us a little love, throw us some stars, preferably 5 of them. Go ahead and review on Apple iTunes preferably, but you know, we accept all kinds of reviews. Just let us know how we're making you feel, and you know, we'll rate it on air. Thanks.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
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 On today's mid-episode shout-out. Just kidding. Anyway, so today's mid-episode shout-out is from Ditzy_J, who says, quote, Ludology is, and I should spell that, Ludologgy. Ludology is an analytical discussion of the hows and whys of the world of board games. Rather than news and reviews, Ludology explores a variety of topics about games from a wider lens and discusses game history, game design, and game players. Ludology is part of the Dice Tower Network, the premier board game media network. End quote. You can arrange for us to read your shout-out at firebreathingkittenspodcast.com through our partnership with Buy Me a Coffee. We also have books for you to read on Amazon and audiobooks on Audible. Just search Fire Breathing Kittens, space, podcast. And lastly, please tell other people about our podcast. We don't pay to advertise our show, so that is the only way your friend will learn about us. Do you smile listening to us? They could smile too, but only if you tell them about us. Thanks.
Welcome back. I think we need an episode recap. Would y'all like to roll a d6 and let's see who...
Sure thing.
3.
1.
6.
All right, Lothario, please give us an episode recap.
No problem. So, there we were, stepping off a wagon, dropping us off in the Fubi Plains to participate in the Junior Adventurer, I'm sure there's a formal name, but basically the Junior Adventurers Festival. It's kind of like, if you can imagine a cross between a Boy Scout campout and an Arab bazaar with all the colorful tents and stuff happening everywhere. So that's what it looked like. So there's me, Luna, and Chico finds some rabbit folk, and he decides to have a hot dog, which turned out to be a big mistake later. And he's talking with some rabbit folk. I see some folks that are spray painting tents, inappropriately, I might add, but I do want to foster some relationships, so I talk to them. I'm pulled away by the leader of this outfit, the whole organization, and his name is Geralf, and he's dressed like I guess the listener might imagine a 19th century English explorer. That's what he's dressed like. And while he pulls me away, Luna steps in and kind of takes all those misunderstood youth under her wing, and she is determined to make sure that they know how to survive. So she takes them away. First, has them, she pays them to paint her ATV with mower attachment, and it's beautiful. And then she goes off and trains them in survival. Meanwhile, I get a group assigned to me, 3 siblings, and then Chico comes back with his group, and we get ready to run an obstacle course. 3 parts of the obstacle course. 1, a wall that must be climbed. 2, a muddy area, swampy, kind of gross, with rocks that you can get across. And 3, a tunnel system with big pendulums going back and forth, ready to knock you out. Not only are we competing, but there are also other groups competing alongside us. There are the Gishope Sirens, the Gardaloo Harlequins, and the Mausel Cobras. And they look like some mean cats, so we don't want them to necessarily win. We're trying to go for our own. So Chico goes first because he's a bunny folk after all. He's very fast. So he's out there. He's attacking the Mausel fellas and kind of slowing them down, and then they get over the wall. And then it's my turn. And then I attack, well, not attack is a strong word. I slow down the Harlequin group and the Siren group, and then my folks get across the wall. On the other side of the wall, we're going through the muddy path. Chico, again, boom, 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 very fast, goes through, across the rocks, gets on the other side, gets stuck a little bit, but manages. I follow his path, and I'm using my very long boots to walk through the mud while my youth adventurers go across. And then I believe the Sirens just fall apart. They're just in the mud, and that's eventually where they quit. But the other two, the Mausel Cobras and the Gardaloo Harlequins, do make it across. Challenge 3, Pendulums. Chico and his group are able to get through, except one of them gets knocked out, and as it turns out, there's some technology behind to keep these kids safe from not getting hurt or killed, which is great. I didn't know that, but now that I know, I might be a little bit more aggressive, we'll say, in the second half. And one of his folks gets safety bubbled, but he gets through. My group, thanks to his help, gets through. And the other 2 remaining groups are slowed down, but they get through also. We get to the crystal pedestal at the end, get their merit badges that magically appear on their sashes. But then, all the while, Luna is training this group of misfits. And they're learning all kinds of stuff. They're building shelters, seeking water and food, basic survival stuff that you would learn in the Scouts that they may not have learned because they were kicked out of the Scouts to begin with. Anyway, she comes back and she builds enough trust with their leader, Sarmine, I believe. Anyway, Sarmine reveals to her that there's some shenanigans. The reason that they got kicked out is because they saw Geralf, the head of this Scout thing, interacting with some suspicious character in a red robe. and they were exchanging gold. And when she brought it up to Geralt, which was a big no-no according to Luna, they got kicked out. So, one, we're going to learn about how to be a whistleblower the proper way. And two, Luna is investigating what deep dark secrets are happening here. And now, y'all are all caught up, so welcome back.
All right, and so the competition ended. Luna had this meeting with Thwabin, who I didn't mention before, but that's who it is. Thwabin and Louise Riplin and Jean. And so we're kind of in between events at the moment, so you guys have a minute to talk and kind of reconnoiter if you'd like to.
Oh, I'd like to do something. So Chico's like, all right, everyone, gather back up. We got to regroup before we go and do that big fight we're supposed to be doing at the end. So everyone come back together. I'm going to be rolling for orders rights to resupply myself. And, oh, okay, that's perfect. I rolled 2 6s with that. So I've got a 15 total. So with orders rights, I choose, with a 10 plus, I choose 2 options. But since I've got squires, I can choose a third option. So I'm going to gain troops, gain supplies, and raise the morale of my company.
All right, that sounds good.
Did you get 2 6s and add a 3?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I got max. A lot better than that one time where I got minimum with 2 1s. I'm all over the place.
So, so story-wise, Alvor pulls out what is essentially like a first aid kit, and in it has a device that disables the bubble and allows his sister Corina to recover. And then you said you chose gain supplies?
Yes.
And raise the morale.
Mm-hmm.
How would you like to, describe how you raise their morale?
I just cheer everyone on, say, hey, we got this. We're the Bear Clan. We can do anything. And hopefully it'll just give a advantage on my next war move. Just hyping them up.
Okay, awesome.
Just hyping them up for a fight, because we're going into a fight.
All right, Lothario, is there anything you'd like to do?
Yeah. So, one, I'm going to get hyped up based on what Chico's doing, because he is really bringing the crowd together. I'm like, yeah, we can do this. I'm excited. Then, I take a look at the leaders of the other groups. So, we got the Sirens and the Cobras and the Harlequins, and I note to myself that our group has no name that I'm familiar with. So, I ask Geralt and say, do we have a name, or do we propose a name and give it to you?
In the past, they have went by the Nicomoy Hydras. However, a name proposal could be considered.
Well, I will track down Chico and Luna and say, hey, here's the situation. We're supposed to be the Nicomoy Hydras. Are you okay with that? And if not, would you prefer be some other ferocious creature?
Oh, Lothario, it has been so long since we talked. A lot of things have happened. I think you should go with the Hydras. It's nice. It implies that we will come back. Fiercer.
Oh, yeah. That's right. They have to burn the stump of our neck in order to stop us, but let's not get into gruesome details. Chico, what do you think?
Well, shucks, I've never heard of what a Hydra is. That sounds like fire hydrant? No, we don't have fire hydrants in this universe. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, that sounds pretty neat.
Oh,
I like it.
I will. Here's what it is. It is a multi-headed dragon with heads that I believe breathe fire but may not. That's the part I'm a little bit fuzzy on. However, the tenacity and the ferocity of this creature is unmatched. And if you cut off one of its 7 heads, it grows back. And so it's nigh undefeatable.
Oh, I see. Okay, I see how it works. Well, then how would you defeat such a thing? What? The fire-breathing kittens comes up against the Hydra. Oh, man.
Well, fire, as it turns out, is one of the ways to slow it down at least. And legend goes, you cut off all the heads, burn the stumps, and then the immortal head in the middle you have to bury because it just keeps on living. But then, anyway, I doubt we're going to come across that situation in our situation. So, Hydras it is. And I'll give a thumbs up to Geralt. I say, Hydras, yeah, that's what we're going to do. And then I tell the Merivine children, I'm like, okay, we're the Hydras. Get that in your mind. We are undefeatable.
Maryvine children, would you like some milkweed cheese? It melts in your mouth.
And I nudge Sarmine so that she walks we wrapped it up in leaves when we were done, grape leaves. So she walks over with a little food present for Aurora Maryvine.
Aurora looks excitedly and is like,
Oh, I like cheese.
and hands a couple to her brothers.
What do you say, Aurora?
This is good.
You gotta say thank you. Come on. And being an adventurer is more than just busting heads. You gotta have a rapport with the people around you, especially your fellow adventurers. So you should say thank you. That was a very nice thing you did.
Thank you.
I don't force Sarmine to say you're welcome. I am happy that she just isn't making a big mess right now.
Baby steps. That's good.
Lothario, Chico. So, have you seen a person wearing a red robe?
Not that I know of. Nope.
I don't believe so. Hey, Chico, at your almost wedding, was there anybody in a red robe, like ceremonial or anything like that? I don't think so.
Weren't you wearing red? Or no, you weren't wearing red, were you?
Not
You
that
were wearing
day.
green.
Yes, it was the river kimono. Mm-hmm. It was beautiful. I mean, thank you for... I'm glad my wardrobe has such an impression. But yeah, I don't remember any red robes.
Nope, just green ones.
Why do you ask, Luna?
I ask because I am curious if there is perhaps something underhanded going on here. The funding situation is a little bit complex. I tried to test the... So, normally in a organization, when you try to give money to the super underlings, they say, no, give the money to the treasurer. But it seems that there is no treasurer here. There is only one leader who also handles all the money, and perhaps he's not giving receipts. It is possible that my poor little whistleblower here, Sarmine, and I point to Sarmine, and Sarmine looks angry and apathetic. She is so adorable. My poor little whistleblower, she tried to ask Girl Fartini if it was right for him to accept gold and not give a receipt from this red-robed wearing person. And that is why she is expelled from the games today. And also, these innocent bystanders, Lethe, Chunk, and Opal, and I point to each of them, and they're probably eating grass or something, like not paying attention and totally not benefiting from this experience at all. And I take my wins where I can get them. I think one is burning a spider. And I'm like, these innocent children do not deserve to be kicked out because of a whistleblowing activity by Sarmine. So I tested their funding situation. They do not have a proper treasurer. They do not have proper forms. And perhaps it is possible that this person, Dwayben, he is listening way too well to things. I'm thankful that he is not overhearing this conversation, honestly. Because he came into the field in the middle of nowhere where I was, and he said, talk to Barnabas. It was very sketchy, you guys. Something is not right here.
Well, if Luna thinks it's sketchy, it is definitely sketchy. So first, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna crouch down. I'm still on my feet, but I get eye level with Sarmine and allow my violet eyes to penetrate her yellow ones. And I'm gonna say, Sarmine, you are truly an adventurer. Standing up for what's right is the most important thing you can do. And you did the right thing, and we're gonna back you up.
Thank you. It's been a while since an adult has listened to us.
We have been outcast from the scouting group and considered to be delinquents.
Well, if being shady and taking money under the table from also equally sketchy people is the group and what embodies their principles and whatnot, being a delinquent of that is perfectly fine. You're doing the right thing, and I'm glad Luna's here to guide you. She's all right. All right, Chico, Luna, what next?
Well, I say we just continue the tournament and then we'll figure out our answers through that. We're going to have to fight a bunch of people. We can fight that gladiator dude that was giving Luna a hard time. You said, what was his name again? Tharmine? What was?
Thoibin.
Thoibin. Thank you. Yeah, well, I'll take him out. He's easy pickings.
That's a good point. Actually, I'm gonna do something potentially risky. We'll see. I'm gonna go to this gladiator fella and say, hey, I hear you can put me in contact with Barnabas. How can we make that happen? And then we'll see what happens. What do y'all think about that?
That works. And if he turns out to be a bad guy, we'll whip him.
And I'll look shady. I have a gift that I can look very unsettling when I want to, not normal.
My question is, when you get to Barnabas, and I hand you a big old bag of gold, can you get him caught in the act? Because if Chico and I can bring witnesses, like the parents, because the organizers have no idea what's going on. I've given up on Luis Riplin and Jean Barrett to do anything right. Oh, I know. I'm looking for a Karen haircut in the crowd.
Karen haircut.
Just like if you were to roll a dice, how many do I see? Because I'm gonna make a mob of angry moms.
If we were to bring some witnesses, could you get Barnabas caught in the act of doing something illegal?
I would.
If he is fair, then Lothario. This test, he will pass. But if a bunch of witnesses show up at the wrong time, it would be bad for a corrupt person. Oh, you should also get Geralf caught too in the same moment. So we show up with a bunch of Karens. You have Geralf and Barnabas doing something illegal. We, if truth can destroy it, it deserves to be destroyed.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I'm going to do something called a Godaloo Gold Guard. And so I take your bag of gold, and I take my bag of Godaloo hot pepper powder, and I pour my powder in the bag of gold, and I mix it up real good. And say, back in Godaloo, if you want to make sure nobody touches your gold, you put this on there, because it's uncomfortable. And so they will literally be caught red-handed.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's the powder that they put on my hot dog earlier.
Oh. Well, if you're not ready for that, man, I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, you've learned a valuable lesson today, Chico.
It certainly is tasty, though.
Oh, I agree. I can't get enough. All right, I got the gold. I'm going to go find Mr. Gladiator Armor, and then we're going to have a conversation. So I walk over to him and say, hey, word on the street is you know how to get in touch with Barnabas. Now, I have a donation, we'll say, I would like to make. Could you point me in the right direction, and maybe I might be able to break off a piece for you?
I was actually intending to meet with him myself, my good friend. What is your name?
Oh, my name's Lothario Bouchak, but you can call me Boo.
Well,
He wants to be called Boo very much.
I am Thwaben. I'll tell you what. Perhaps a little of that gold could make its way into my palm, and then I could set up a meeting for you.
How do I know you're not gonna backstab me once I give you the gold? You're pretty beefy. I mean, I could take you, but let's make sure the meeting happens, and then you'll get your cut.
Well, you see, I was about to meet him in about 15 minutes, next to the outhouses. So, if you'll go to him and speak the word Thalcor, and perhaps he might have an audience with you.
All right. I tell you what, I'm so confident in my abilities to whip you, I'll give the gold right now, and if it don't work out, I'll be back.
I look forward to the competition, my friend.
Mm-hmm. I give him a side eye. All right, so, I want to find out from Geralf what the timeline is, like if I have time to go to the outhouse before the next event.
So you approach him?
Yeah, I'll say, hey, Geralf, what, I think I ate one of them hot dogs out front, and I need to hit the outhouse, if you don't mind. It might be a while. Is it possible to not start the next leg of the ravine portion until I get back? I'm sorry, I hope I'm not stepping on your toes.
Actually, it seems It seems like we might have some bad weather rolling in on the distance, so we're going to cancel the ravine event for now. We're making preparations for the final badge, so in about 20 to 30 minutes, we will start our final activity for the day.
Okay, hopefully that's enough time, but I will check in with you. Thank you very much, Geralt. And so I will come back to Chico and Luna and say, hey, here's what I found out. And I tell them about the outhouse and Thalcor and the gold and how I gave some to the, I can't remember his name, gladiator armor man.
Thwaben.
Thwaben, yeah. Sorry. See, I'm glad I'm having this conversation with them. So, and I'll say, hey, do either of you want to do this meeting or should I do the meeting? I'm fine either way. Or do all three of us want to do the meeting?
I could come up there as backup, but I'm certainly not that very good at talking. I'd probably fall into their plans and their traps if they figure out I'm part of it. Well, they wouldn't expect me. But no, I'm not really good at that. You could do that yourself. Like I said, I'll be backup in case you need help fighting someone.
I need you, Chico, because you are a victim of the food poisoning today. We need to all go to the outhouses.
Definitely collecting all the mad Karens and moms and stuff whose children have been getting food poisoned by these hot dogs throughout the day, because now that Lothario said it and has the cayenne powder to back it up, a lot of people need the bathroom suddenly because of these hot dogs and cayenne pepper. So my goal is to using Chico as, Chico, you gotta ham it up. Be like your stomach hurts real bad. And we're gonna be like, this is outrageous. Who prepared the food today?
I would be careful, though. Are you going to have this angry mob of moms at the outhouse? Because I don't want to spook this Barnabas character.
It'll take us a good while, so we'll get there when you're in the midst of things.
Okay. That sounds good.
So as you guys are talking about this hot dog situation, Hop, who was previously taken out of the obstacle course, his mother has like a very fringe haircut. The bangs kind of cut at an angle in front of her face. And she's feeding him. She's in the middle of feeding him his second hot dog. And like, she's like comforting him and trying to help him recover from his accident on the obstacle course. And he's like sitting there eating this hot dog. And she looks over and like over here, like she's like, oh, you said there's something wrong with the hot dogs.
Oh, yes. No, the hot dogs.
It's got to be Chico's social role, which I think is faith. Mm-hmm. But what I'm going to do is be like responding to Chico's role as well. So like my reaction is to his acting. Mm-hmm. And I say, oh no, your child is eating one of the hot dogs.
Yeah, so you would have advantage on this. It would probably be, it's a faith roll for sure.
Can I support a company in trouble? I can mark supply.
When you want to convince, this is in the name of humankind. When you want to convince, order, or intimidate another faction that you are not at war with yet, you roll 2d6 plus faith. On a 10 plus, they obey you. So you're trying to
7 to 9 to need payment. Okay, this will be funny.
Yeah, so that's what Chico's doing, and I'm doing Unbreakable Brotherhood to expend a supply to support Chico. So you can re-roll a die. Mm-hmm. And then if you fail, I take consequences. So I hope you don't fail.
I failed.
So re-roll a die.
I already did.
Oh, you really? What? You didn't even get a 7?
No, I got 2 2s, and then I re-rolled 1, and I got a 1.
Oh my! So you can mark supply one more time to re-roll if you'd like, but I don't know how much it'll help. Hold on. 7 and 9.
Yeah, re-roll that one.
Okay, I'll re-roll again. Oh, wow. Okay, I got 7 because I rolled actually, no, I got 8 total because I was a 6. So 6 plus 2, that's 8.
Okay.
Oh, my goodness. Good, because I would have suffered with you. Just joined a sinking ship.
So it says on a 7 and 9, they need payment, threat, or punishment to obey you.
Payment, threat, or punishment. Payment of a badge for helping a sick person, right? Scouts earn badges. So how you pay a scout is you give them a medicine badge. Threat of their child becoming sick if they ignore your dire warning. And punishment, I don't want to punish this lady.
I think it's either of those
Yeah,
three.
you got to pick one.
You have 2 good options.
So Chico, which one are you feeling? Payment, threat, or punishment? It's your role.
Ooh, my stomach. Ooh, I think I need help in that scout's honor. Ooh. So they get a badge for it. Ooh.
The mother of Hop looks over at Chico and she's like, "You are absolutely right. My Hop deserves a badge."
Child, I have these medicines, but I do not know how to use them.
And I open up my on ATV medicine pack that I got the ace bandage from earlier. You know, ATVs can carry like a medicine first aid kit.
Do you know how to use these, child? A paracetamol? A Tums?
Which one are you speaking to? I'm sorry.
The kid who wants the badge. I'm providing the material components.
He kind of looks at them confusedly and he's like, I didn't get much instruction on first aid.
Try both.
So you want him to give them to Chico?
Yeah, Pepto-Bismol, Tums, and paracetamol.
Okay, he brings them over.
What happens when you take all that stuff when you no longer have stomach problems and is it just nothing?
We're not going to find out. No one listening to this show is going to find out either.
Only take medicine per the directions on the label.
So
he just hands them all to Chico.
Yep, just gargles them all down and says, "Wow, I feel so much better, Hop. Thank you." And now I'm actually feeling like nauseous for the drugs.
It probably helps because you were digesting meat earlier and you should have been.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And like, you did good. Here, let me make you a badge, and I'll just craft a badge from. I've got crafting supplies with me. I'll make it. It's not going to be like a leather badge or like a threaded badge, but it is going to be a badge knitted from hay and flowers and whatnot. It's really neat, really nice. It's going to look like a little medicine capsule thing.
Aw. What a good job you did. You had said your name was Hop?
Yeah, they call me Hop.
Oh, now you must take care of the patient aftercare. Take him over to the outhouses in case he needs them.
Yes, and I do need them now.
He got you over there, and the mother is looking very impressed, and she's like, "I knew Harrison had this in him. I wanted him to be a doctor from the start."
Oh, very successful.
I don't know. As we pass other people eating hot dogs, I'm going to let Harrison's mom proselytize at them about the dangers of hot dogs and how her child can help them. Proudly showing his badge.
Yes. Perfect.
Yeah, and on top of that, she's like, "And I heard that Geralt Fartini handled all of the food supplies for this festival this evening, so I think we should tell everybody about it."
They're primed against Geralt as they show up at these outhouses halfway through Lothario getting murdered, which I would like to intervene on. So the timing.
Attempted murder. Don't worry. I'm slippery.
All right,
It's going to take us a while, but we're on our way.
all right, so yeah, let's shift over to Lothario. So Lothario, how are you arriving at this meeting at the outhouses?
I am looking casually stealthy. Like, not overly performatively stealthy, like I shouldn't be there, but you know, like I'm just walking around, but to the trained eye, they know that I'm up to no good. So I'm just kind of making my way to the outhouses, and I'm gonna take a page from Luna. I'm gonna start flipping a gold coin outside the outhouse.
All right. So as you arrive, you see an individual. You see a 6 foot tall individual wearing a. At the moment, it appears to be a dark brown robe with gray hair and a beard and gray skin and gray eyes. As he steps out, he kind of goes behind the outhouse and just kind of like leans against one, and you see that the inside of the robe looks red, as if he has turned it inside out.
I see. I'm gonna go ahead and say the code word, but I'm gonna like turn and say, "So, Thalcor, am I right?"
Yes, may he crush the decadent under the tread of his boot.
Ooh,
You,
that sounds intense.
I haven't encountered you before, sir. How can I help you?
Word on the street is, you either are or could connect me to Barnabas, and I hear he's the man to know.
I am Barnabas. Have you spoken with Thwaben? Is he the one who gave you the passcode?
Well, I'm not one to break confidence, so we'll just say I got it.
Very well.
I hope you can understand that I'm a good keeper of secrets, and then I wink at him, but slyly.
Very well. So, if you're looking for new recruits, I'm working with Geralf, and we are finding ways to bring up a new crop. I personally am looking to restart my former organization. If you'd be interested in this, a small donation would be required to get you started.
Oh, by all means, that is why I'm here. In fact, I have this bag of gold. Oh, I seem to have dropped my bag and I cannot find it. Well, oh well, I guess I'll just consider that a loss, and I drop it right at his feet.
We're describing. I love it.
He leans over to pick it up, and he kind of hefts it and stuffs it in his robe. And he's like, very well. I will speak to Geralf myself, and I will... what was your... did you give him his name? I kind of...
I didn't. I may have. I'll go ahead and say it again, though. So, remember, I'm Lothario Bushaki. Oh, yeah, you can call me Boo. And, I will say, if you need anything else, resource-wise, I am a true believer. And money, I mean, what's that to men like you and me, right? So, I'm a man of action. And so if you need something else, you just drop me a line, all right?
Very well. Do you have any recruits you're looking to bring into our fold as well?
I'm training some up now. I want to find out if they're of the right material for the organization. Yeah, remind me again what the name of the organization is?
The Crimson Lament.
Crimson Lament. Okay, all right. Yeah, I think I got a couple of candidates that might be right up your alley.
Geralf.
So how can I contact you? Are you a regular visitor to this outhouse? Or how should I contact you in the future?
In the future, perhaps...
I do have my meetings here very often. I also sometimes meet in Geralf's office. I often do clerical work for him as well.
The goal is to get Geralf and him caught doing something illegal at the outhouses as the people arrive. Could you get Geralf here and get him to do something illegal with Barnabas?
I'm gonna see what I can do.
You got this.
But the thing is, Geralf is setting up the next round of, badge acquisition. But I'm gonna key in on something he just said about him doing some paperwork for Geralf in his office. And so I think that's the most likely opportunity we're gonna have to have them both together. I'm just thinking inside myself, but then also for the benefit of the listener and also for the benefit of my cohorts. I may wave off the mob and see if we can get him to the office. So, okay, Barnabas. I know this sounds like a weird request, but I have people watching my finances, and I got 2 strikes against me already. I don't want a third. So, do you have a receipt or some kind of paperwork I could have to verify that I gave you the proper amount?
I could write you one. However, we would have to take a visit to our office where I keep my paperwork.
Is it wise to do so now? I mean, I guess with the events happening, perhaps this is the best time.
If he looks around and he starts to hear these ramblings of these mothers, these angry mothers with the hot dogs, and he's like, if I know Geralf with this current ruckus, he's probably retreating to his office at the moment.
Okay, well, I'll head there. I'll meet you there once, and hopefully we can avoid this ruckus. So, I don't know if you have hand signs or nothing, but I'm gonna throw a couple of signs at him that are just generic group signs and say, "All right, I'll see you later."
He looks confused by this, but then he tells you, just to the northwest of the obstacle course, you'll find the offices of the Guaso Adventurers Guild.
Excellent. I'm glad we could work together. Okay, so I depart quickly yet stealthily, like, casual like, and I try to find Luna and Chico, and I'll say, hey, change of plan. And then I fill them in on what transpired and then say, okay, I think we can get both Gareth and Barnabas at the office, but we need to move now.
Can we make sure not to include my stomach again? I don't think I can take it anymore.
No, well...
To have your badge certified, you have to take it to the office, maybe? And we can complain about the hot dogs?
That's perfect.
If people are still eating hot dogs, they're still going to get sick. So we have to do the right thing and stop everybody from eating these hot dogs. We got to go to the source, the office.
I believe Gareth is responsible for all the food here. He coordinated everything.
Yeah.
So I presuppose. So ultimately, he is responsible. So we should talk to him and get that figured out.
So how do you guys, because I'm not social, I don't have any faith, how do you guys convince the group of angry food-poisoned children parents to go to the office? Roleplay. Go.
I got an idea. How about we go in that tournament, win it, and then while we're on our podium after we won, demand to see the manager? I don't know.
That might be good. I think if you were as affected by that hot dog, and others like Hop are also affected, or whomever may be eating these hot dogs, we can get a mass of people that are, agitated about that situation. And then we can spread the word. I'd like to call it a whisper campaign against Gareth and his botching of this food and beverage supply. And so if we can kind of get people against him and then say, oh, well, let's just go to the man's office and wait there until he arrives and demand justice. Then Barnabas will be there writing out my receipt because, we want to make sure we have a good paper trail. And then justice will be served.
There's a plan.
I like that plan.
Okay, so are we going to do that now, or do you want to go ahead and these kids are looking for the badges, but what better training can we give them than the dispensing of justice?
Exactly. I like that idea. That's all about adventuring. That's what they're here to do, right?
There's definitely a food safety and preparation badge.
Sarmine peeps up for a second and says,
perhaps we could find a new way to do the final badge ceremony other than pitting people against each other in combat.
Oh? What do you have in mind, Sarmine?
I will think on it.
Okay. Well, ultimately the goal of the battle is to see who is superior in combat. Yet, do we want to combat these other groups just to prove what? That, yes, we are smarter, stronger, cleverer, better looking, have better manners, all that. Yeah, we can all see that's true. But does that solve anything? I think going after Gareth. In fact, we may be able to get them on board too. Do we dare do so?
All right, so you
Get Gareth
probably
on our side. What do you mean by that?
Well, I'm talking about like the Harlequins and probably not the Cobras because he seems in. You know what I'm saying? He's already in and he's not going to fight against his gravy train.
I see.
So would you guys like to attempt to rally the crowd to the office? Is that where we're heading with this?
I think so. I think we're going to reproduce the outhouse plan, but just be the office plan. So I'm there, Barnabas is there, Gareth is there. And then, while everybody's in the act, the crowd, led by Luna and Chico, exposes their malfeasance.
But in order to convince him, we have to roll faith, don't we? Which I don't have any faith.
I have faith. I mean, both as a stat and as a role play situation.
I will give you advantage for this because you guys have set the stage for this whole situation with the hot dog poisoning and all that.
Man.
Well, thank you, Lothario, for having faith in me. I'll put faith in myself and for justice for everyone here. And I'll go ahead and roll for that real quick. Oh, wow. Okay. Just 5, 5, and 5. So I take the highest 2. So that's 10 plus. Yeah. That's a major success.
You were going to say something, Luna?
I'd be surprised if we could stop these angry mobs from going to the office, really.
Yeah, so either way, the roll was good. They obey you. Everybody is riled up about these hot dogs, and Geralt's name has already been kind of spread around, and everybody's headed that direction. So, Lothario, you were trying to get there ahead of everybody else?
Correct, yeah. So Chico and Luna, delay them maybe 5 minutes until I can have time to get them in flagrante, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because isn't Geralt setting up the fight right now? So he's not in the office, right?
Well, I imagine if all the parents are
Yeah.
in an uproar, there may be a delay.
Yeah.
It would take me time to get them riled up. So you'd have plenty of time.
Yeah. Convenient narrating. We arrive when makes sense.
Excellent.
All right.
I'm going to go ahead and make my way to the office, but still maintaining the composure of somebody who may be up to no good to the trained eye.
Okay, so yeah, you arrive. You do see Barnabas entering the office, and you hear some low voices talking inside. At this point, the fervor in the camp is quite. There's voices carrying of people getting angry and people like tossing hot dogs in the garbage bins, and it's.
Well, that's just wasteful. I mean, I may go back for some hot dogs later.
Without the chili pepper.
Oh no, I love chili.
They're convinced that
That's how I grew
they're
up.
convinced that this food has been tainted. They are not going to eat these hot dogs if they don't know that it's safely prepared.
That's true.
They've seen so many people going by the outhouses, coming and going from the outhouses so much. All right. Anyway, so yeah, you arrive. Barnabas enters the office, and you hear some low talking going on inside.
So I knock on the door like a code knock, like that, like, hey, is it safe to come in type of thing? And I wait.
Yeah, Barnabas comes to the door on the other side, and you hear him say the passphrase.
Thalcor? Of course.
He unlocks the door and opens it up, and inside you see Geralt is sweating profusely, sitting behind a desk, kind of like holding his head, looks a little anxious. And then there are a couple of desks, some paperwork and files. You also see like a small alchemical setup with a mortar and pestle and an alembic and things like that, as well as some black vials, vials filled with a black liquid sitting atop one of the counters in the area.
That's curious, but I don't make any note of it. Like, I don't show I'm surprised or impressed or anything like that. I'm like, hey, I'm sorry to inconvenience you, but as I discussed with Barnabas Geralt, know that I'm supporting the endeavor, and I put it in quotes like that, and the recruitment, also in quotes. And then I say, I just need a receipt, because the people that I work with, or at the behest of, I should say, need to make sure that I'm not skimming off the top. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I understand. We've got a situation developing with these potentially tainted hot dogs. We don't really know what our next steps are.
Well, what if I help you solve this problem? Would that, I think that could be mutually beneficial and help ensure trust in this situation.
What do you recommend?
Well, my go-to is always deflection. And so what you need to do is you need to cast blame on somebody else who's willing or even unwilling to be your scapegoat. Now, you two seem pretty key to the operation, but is there anybody like an underling, a part of this camp, that you could say was responsible for the food?
They both look at each other, and they instantly say the same name. Thwaben.
I met him. He ain't too bright. So, I think you found your scapegoat. And I think you're in the clear. All you gotta do is explain to this mob that it was Thwaben.
I think you are right, Lothario.
Huh? All right, I kind of adjust my frock coat a little bit like I'm proud of myself.
How do we get the message out without the mob beating us up?
You gotta head him off at the pass. You get Thwaben here also, and then while they show up, you'll dressing him down for his inadequate food supply and allowing tainted food in the mouths of children, upsetting their little tummies and making a wreck of the whole day.
You're right. This all could have been avoided if we hadn't included him. He should be on his way here soon. We told him to meet us here.
Perfect. Yeah.
All right.
So let's just recap. You just helped Geralt and Barnabas get out of any blame for any illegal I am so confused.
So they think. They think I'm on their side, supposedly. Mm-hmm. But what's really happening is when the mob shows up, I reveal myself as a double agent.
So at this point, we'll switch back to Luna and Chico. And as you guys are leading this mob towards the office building, in fact, you encounter Thwaben, who is looking mightily confused and he was headed in that direction, but now that he hears the ruckus, he is turning and kind of trying to figure out what is happening. What would you guys like to do?
Let's just recap player to player. Okay, so we've got a children's organization, right? Geralt contacted Nulasag to ask for mentors. We came here. I immediately noticed that some of the kids weren't allowed to participate, even though it sounds like their parents helped pay for this, along with the Eastinghouse Company. So Saramine, Lethe, Chunk, and Opal were just left to watch and not participate, which is a super bummer. And the reason for that is because Saramine talked to Geralt about Geralt accepting money from Barnabas. My question is, did we ever find out what Geralt was accepting money from Barnabas for?
I think player to player, it was exposed during my conversation with Barnabas when he says that this is a fertile recruitment ground for his organization. So, they're using the camp to train up future acolytes of whatever Crimson Lament that he is trying to rebuild.
So it's because maybe the people who win this competition are going to get kidnapped and sent to the Crimson Lament?
Maybe not kidnapped. It could be just a very good, a brainwashing or convincing that they are, very adequate and could use their skills for much more than they intend. And so it's kind of they're pipelining them.
Like the CIA and Yale and stuff. Okay. Is that bad? Or is that just important?
No comment.
Is that just the sort of thing that we don't write receipts for? Because, you don't write receipts for... I don't know. I think the only thing I hold Geralt personally responsible for is for making Saramine, Lethe, and Chonk and Opal sit it out. That's what I don't like. The lack of inclusion for paying members, right? Because no one debates that they're a scout. They just call them delinquent scouts.
No, they were kicked out of the scouts from what I understand. And on top of that, they may not have even had to be there in the first place. They were just... Remember, when we found them, they were tagging some of the stuff at the camp as a message, a screw you type of situation. And so we found them on happenstance. And then they were so dejected and so minimized and isolated that they wouldn't be believed. Oh yeah, they're quote unquote delinquents, but what they have is the truth. And when you attack the character of somebody so that they are no longer believed, whatever they say that is the truth goes in one ear and out the other. And so Geralt is able to operate in his evil operation without obstacle from these folks. But we believe them. And so when we follow the trail we're finding a bunch of dirty laundry.
So the enemy is country club exclusivity?
No, well, maybe. That could be part of it. But I think it's Geralt, from what I understand. Geralt is using the camp to train up members
I'm
for
cool
the
with that,
Crimson
though.
Lament. Well, what do you know of the Crimson Lament?
Nothing. Oh, wait, no. My character as Kimberly was there before and kind of broke their system. Like, Thalcor's dead now because of Kimberly and her friends. So a lot. Kimberly knows a lot about the Crimson Lament. She wasn't very impressed with them, but she also didn't find them to be a great threat. So, I mean, if they want to recruit people, they're perfectly... I'm not actually opposed to that. I just...
Like freedom of association type stuff?
Sure.
Even though they want to conquer the known world? I mean, as a player, I don't know this, but as a fervent listener of the podcast, I do.
Yeah, but I don't think they're a threat. They can try all they want.
As Chico is talking with Luna about the plan situation, he notices that Luna is like his friend, and he knows she goes by many names, and he's been with her in many different missions, and this is just one of them. He's like, wow, Luna, I can't believe you're helping Saruman with all her troubles and everything. Very out of character for you. Aren't you always after money?
I started out the season after money, and then I got a lot of money. And now I'm wondering what the purpose in life is, because I have a lot of money, so I don't need to kill people for money anymore. So I'm questioning what to do with it all, and myself.
Oh, shucks. That's
But
wonderful.
you've seen that over the weeks and months that we've been together. So I say to you in character, I say, what is the purpose of money? Do you know, now that I have it, I'm not sure.
She just goes completely silent. Chico's just looking up at her like, oh, well, yeah, it's lots of stuff to think about, but, well, we're here to help Saruman, so let's ask Saruman what she thinks about all this whole situation. Saruman, what do you think we should do? Should we be working to stop these guys, or should we let them do what they want to do?
I believe Geralt is head of an organization that teaches to be steadfast and forthright, and he is being very shady and hiding things from the scouts. Who knows what other secrets he might have? I don't believe he belongs at the head of the organization.
I don't know how to break this to you, but not every club is going to let you in, and that's okay. So you learned how to not interact with the head of an organization. You don't confront them with their dirty laundry. I think that was an important life skill for you. Honestly, you are now closer to being an adult.
That was kind of my inspiration, whether it was misguided or not, to create the purple basilisks.
Did you guys have fun today?
Yes, very much so.
All right. You learned how to make a shelter against a rock face. You learned how to start a fire to cook your foraged edibles. You learned how to... Oh, but you're so good at the water collection. So, really, what you learned is how to interact with authority figures. You don't confront them with their dirty laundry. And how to create a group and have a fun day. So, Saruman, I think you really benefited from all of this. You have friends? Chunk is the giantkin, and he hasn't said much. And I'm like, hey, Chunk, did you have fun?
Yes.
He waves his club.
And now you know how to use your paint skills for monetary gain. And I did pay them. So, Chico, how do you feel about Geralt? Do you have any ill will?
I feel what he was trying to do to help Thar, because he accepted money from what's his name? Not the Waven.
Barnabas.
He accepted money from Barnabas, but I think Barnabas shouldn't have even needed to done it. Well, he was trying to get ahead of everyone else for the recruitment. I think what we need to do is confront everyone, spill everything out, have everyone speak what they need to say and what they're recruiting for, and set everything straight, and we'll see who wants to go where. Because I think there's a group of people who would want to join this Crimson. What was it again?
Lament. The Crimson Lament.
This Crimson Lament, and there'd be a lot of people who want to join maybe in Fire Breathe the Kittens, we could recruit some people while we're here. Because we were doing some recruiting. Me and Lothario were doing some recruiting way back when. We could do some recruiting here now. This is what this is all about, just getting putting people where they want to be.
Chico is pro officializing the recruitment process and anti-country club exclusivity. All right, that makes sense. You're the farmer.
That's perfect.
Group,
Yeah, I like that
right?
idea.
Yeah. All right, bring down the exclusivity of the country club. Bring it down. Open the gates. Open the gates. Okay, we've got a goal.
But y'all had that conversation amongst the group, right? Like y'all weren't like trying to keep it from the crowd.
I mean,
This is just a conversation between Chico, Luna, and I think Sarmine.
yeah.
Okay.
I think if Louise Riplin were in earshot, the curly
No, stop it.
Sorry.
You keep
said
finding
if.
him.
Okay.
If Chico wants to talk to Luis, go ahead, Chico. You can, because you've got a goal now, right? Open the gates. So talk to Luis.
Yeah, I talked to Louise as well, and let her know what's been going on. Pretty much,
She would just say, Sugar, I think this organization could use a board of directors or something to keep everybody in line. It seems like one person has been running the organization without any sort of checks and balances.
Yeah, we'll handle that. We'll handle that in the future. Go ahead and start letting all the angry moms out there. I just imagine an angry mob of Karens just kind of conglomerating, getting ready to charge the office building. Like they're just beginning to form a bunch of angry Karens in their like young protected children.
No, I mean, at this point, y'all have been having time to amass this group. So there is a large group, and y'all are approaching the office right now. And in fact, we should probably switch over to Lothario at this point.
Yeah, we're coming to make democracy happen by force. Get ready.
All right. So at this point, do I have my receipt?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. And so I double check with Barnabas and Gareth and say, okay, we cool with the plan as far as Thwaben being the fall guy?
I believe so. This is all his fault anyway. We should have never
All right.
trusted him with the food preparation.
All right, well, I'll help spread the word out there, because as far as they know, I'm on their side, as a competitor and mentor. You see what I'm saying? So I'll go ahead and leave, and I'll clear the road for y'all, okay?
At this point, you see Gareth is like got a duffel bag, and he's like putting gold coins and all kinds of paperwork inside of it.
Does it include the gold coins with the pepper powder that I gave to Barnabas?
Sure.
Excellent. Okay. So, I'll exit the office, but as I do so, I close the door and I try to look around and find a method to lock them inside so they cannot escape. So, if there's any wire or, the good old chair under the doorknob type of situation, that is nigh impregnable.
Sure, yeah. I mean, there's all kinds of different, we'll say there's some tables with potted plants, small one-legged tables, and you could like pull the end off one and attempt to jam it in there if you'd like.
Here's what I do. 'Cause I, like Luna, am somewhat wealthy, so I have coins, as was indicated when I tipped the wagon driver. So, kids, if you're listening to this podcast, here's a fun trick you can play on your friends. You can do what you call pennying a door, and you put coins in the slot between the frame and the door itself until the pressure of the coins is so great that it is unable to open. And so I'm putting coins in that slot and increasing the pressure on the door between the door and the frame, so it is now effectively frozen. So that door cannot open unless those coins are removed.
Did I just learn an actual vandalism from this?
Hey, this
I
is
started looking at
non-destructive.
the door in this
This is
room.
more-
Like, I wonder if I could actually do that.
Aurora,
This is more in the prank category, not vandalism. No destruction is involved. So, I'll use copper pieces because gold seems a little excessive. I don't need to brag. I'm doing all right for myself. So I'm putting copper pieces between the frame and the door. Boom, 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 boom. And now I kind of check, and that thing is solid as stone. And they are in there. Are there windows or anything that they can escape out of, or is it pretty enclosed?
I mean, there are definitely windows, but for the sake of this, I will say that you have hindered their escape enough that they will be there when the group shows up to block the. You get what I'm saying? Like, it would take them enough effort to get out that they're going to. Even if they do get out, it's going to be at the same time that this giant mob has showed up to call them out on their malfeasance. And as you are doing this, the three Maryvine kids are just picking random objects off the ground and like just sticking it in there. Like they're just following your lead, but they don't have coins, so they're just sticking sticks and like trying to fit rocks in between and like.
I love that
perfect.
the quiet kids were unnoticed this whole time with Lothario giving bribes, getting receipts. They've just been here watching.
I said, kids, you know I'm on the good side, right? These folks are bad. We're trying to trap them and send them to justice. That's number one. You understand that?
Oh, Frennick is taking note.
And so I'm doing that, and then I will move toward any of the more obvious exits via window. Like I'll kind of move in front. So as I receive the crowd or Thwabin, whoever comes up first, I will I will hinder the escape even more for Barnabas and Gareth.
Yeah, Thwabin is there, and he's doing his best. He's trying to, like, calm everybody down, but they're not having it. And they're just, like, moving around him, and he's just kind of standing there looking goofy. As you guys... he's a gladiator. He's used to combat situations, not used to trying to tame an unruly mob. And y'all all arrive at this office here, and the mothers at this point are just, I cannot believe this. My Susie was not allowed to get a badge because these hot dogs and everything. I don't understand what's happening. But I'm angry about it.
I think a bunch of people have psychosomatically convinced them that they're sick from the hot dogs.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so at this point, you're all three outside of the office, and there's an angry mob of mothers and some kids who are crying because they think they've been poisoned, and they have no idea what's going on.
A lot of kids are just taking the opportunity to vomit because they can. They're just like, yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right. So I meet up with Chico and Luna. I say, I think everything's ready. Do we drop the hammer now?
I'd say we should, yeah, right now. And we should let you do the talking.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, watch those windows. Don't let them escape. And I'll try and get up on an elevated, maybe the stairs or something, maybe a table. You said there were tables there. I'll get on a table. And I will address the crowd. You know what I'll do? I'll use my most convincing voice. I'll say, ladies and gentlemen of the camp, I understand where y'all are coming from, but there's something deeper and more sinister that y'all need to understand. And hopefully they start quieting down because I have a commanding presence and I'm very well dressed. That makes a lot of difference. And so I say, your children are being used. They are being recruited without your knowledge. I mean, I understand if they came to you and asked you as the parent if they would want to join, but that is not what's happening here. You think that they are competing for badges and trying to be better versions of themselves, more capable people in this world, which is commendable. But something has been corrupted, and it all is behind me in these doors with Gareth and a man named Barnabas. They want your children to join a group that I believe is sinister, although within my group there is some disagreement as to how sinister and the voluntary, if you want to be a part of the group, that's fine, that's your business, and I understand that. But, and I point to Salmine and her crew, I'll say, these youths were kicked out of the Scouts, even though they are very capable and stand for truth when it matters the most, because they were willing to expose the truth, and they should be celebrated. And these two behind me, And this man right here, and I point at Thwaben, but very, like, with authority, I'm pointing at him. I'm like, these men are literally red-handed, and hopefully he touched the coins that I gave him, and the powder is getting into his pores and irritating him, because if you're not used to that, that's what's going to happen. And I say, these men are collecting money to send your children to that group without your knowledge, and I think that should not be right.
I'm going to say he started sweating from the crowd, and he wiped his brow, and the chili powder kind of got into his pores, and his face is starting to turn red, and he's seeing, like, he's trying to make his way out as you're, like, giving this speech, but, like, the crowd won't let him. They kind of circle behind him and, like, cut off his way out. And at this point, you see the door behind you begins to rattle, and they somehow manage to just barely wedge it open enough for, like, Geralt to be, like, hanging out, and he's got, like, this bag, and it's, like, spilling out with gold coins, and the crowd is just, like, they just gasp, and everybody's like, what is going on right now?
This here's Chico, and this is Luna, and we are members of the Fire-Breathing Kittens, and we were brought here to mentor some of the youths to become junior adventurers, and I can think of no better way to express to them the importance of being an adventurer than seeking justice and doing what's right for as many people as possible. Now, y'all have been hurt, and that needs to be acknowledged. And some of you may know folks whose children were already taken by this organization, and you need to reach out to them and make sure they're okay. And if we work together, this can return to a type of camp that can be focused on the right things, where we help each other be better. Oh, and I look at Luna and say, oh, and, if you do want to join the Crimson Lament, just be open about that. That's fine. That's your business.
Yeah, everybody is moved by this, and you see a group of the mothers come forward, and they grab Geralt, and they're like, Louise Riplin steps up, and she's like, I believe we've got a lot of paperwork to sort through. And she goes and grabs his bag and begins kind of rifling through it to see what kind of documents and stuff he has. Is there anything else, Luna and Chico, y'all would like to do?
Chico's going to hop up to, what's the Crimson Lament guy?
Barnabas.
Barnabas. He's going to hop up to Barnabas. It's like, hey, don't worry about it. I'm pretty sure there'll still be a lot of people who want to join your guild, your recruitment, your whatever it's called, Crimson, what's called. Yeah, let's get you set up right away. Because I'm pretty sure his name's not listed anywhere, and no one really knows about it.
You mean...
So we're just going to get him in the proper way.
You want to help me subjugate the masses?
Sure!
Chico, that goes against some of our core principles as fire-breathing kittens, but tread lightly.
Yeah, sure. I mean, a lot of people try to act like they're something when they're really not. I'm not really... What I mean... look back at Barnabas. It's like, yeah, you're supporting for the masses of the what you call it with that. Just yeah, I mean you're good.
Okay,
he's not taking this guy seriously.
If y'all allow him, he's just gonna walk away.
I don't know enough about the Crimson Lament. To me, the big villain here is Geralt, trying to kind of pawn off children to an unknown entity. So, without that background, I don't know.
That's absolutely fine. He dips out.
Yeah, I mean, my method is not to publicly confront anybody. I would like to also dip out, though.
All right. How do you just slide out the back?
Yeah. I'm, as always, just mowing the lawn. And I just want to follow Barnabas, because I had lost Barnabas for a while. It's not since the episode Birthday Lament, when I played Kimberly, that I've been in contact with Barnabas. So I just want to follow Barnabas and see where Barnabas hangs out and what Barnabas is up to nowadays. That's all.
All right. Perhaps that's something we'll find out in another episode.
Chico watches Barnabas walking away. I was like, oh, wait, are you not wanting to? Well, I guess that's it. Luna, what do you want? And he looks for Luna like she's gone too. Just hear a lawnmower in the background. Well, I guess I'll just go talk to Lothario, I guess. I don't know where. The fire-breathing kittens win another day. Yeah. Anyway, what y'all kids think about the fire-breathing kittens? Talking to the...
Alvor looks at you and he's like, they're okay, I guess. I mean, it was pretty cool when we chucked vegetables at the Mousel Cobras.
So I'm going to hear this youth say it was okay. I'm going to say, we just busted a big organization wide open. What do you mean it's okay? This is like a Tuesday for us. You should see some of the adventures we're on. In fact, here's an application. Oh, no, wait. You have the wrong attitude. I'm going to give them to the Merrywine children. Thank you very much.
They take them and they're so excited. Aurora looks at you and says, Uncle Lothario, are your stories always this long?
I am loquacious, and I do like to hear myself talk, so that is a problem at times. And sometimes, I'm with a group that's more covert, and they're more in the shadows, and they need a distraction, and look at me. I am perfect for that role.
So with that, I think Sarmine goes around amongst the other kids and kind of explains what happened to them and telling them that Geralf did a bad thing and that hopefully someone better will take over the scouts. And if you guys have anything one more time before we finish this episode, I think that was pretty much it, right?
Yep, nothing I can think of.
Oh, I would like to use my receipt to try and get a refund for my donation. So I can give that money back to Luna when I see her next, because I don't want her to be out all that gold, you know what I'm saying?
It's okay. I've got a frying pan Kickstarter. I've got the oil company, Glissant Oil. I think we took out a gold spaceship one time.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, spent the first half of the year just acquiring gold.
Well, Louise Riplin sees you grabbing this receipt and or holding this receipt, and since she's like the one going through the paperwork and stuff, and she's like, "Oh, sugar, I can handle that for you. You looking for a return on your money?"
Well, I use this as bait, to be honest with you, to get in the good graces of these two fellas that are full of malfeasance, and so I just want that back so I could return it to the proper owner. It's not even me. It's my friend Luna.
All right, I can handle that for you. And while you're at it, if you could stick around a little bit, I think we need to work on setting up a board of directors or something for this organization. So perhaps we have people keeping the Scoutmasters in check.
I will say, baby, that is probably the best idea I've heard all day. And I would love to help you.
Could I ask that you please not smoke a cigarette around me, as I do not care for cigarette smoke?
Oh. Yeah, I could do that, but I'm going to go ahead and call that a deal breaker from a relationship standpoint. But, because I've been with cigarettes longer than I've been with you, so you know how it is. It's only fair. But I will work with you, and I will not smoke in your presence. So there we are.
All right, and with that, I think we're going to call it a wrap. This has been an episode of the Fire Breathing Kittens. We have been joined by Chico.
Well, this is a nice little ending to this fun little adventure.
Lothario.
We expose the evil.
And Luna.
Sarmine opens a letter from Luna that says,
What do you call a lawnmower who works by herself?
I don't know.
A lawn ranger.
That's
Don't be one
good.
of those.
and it says it has a badge, like how Chico made a badge, but I don't have awesome grass weaving skills, so I had to go get a badge made. And it has one for Sarmine, one for Lethe, one for Chunk, and one for Opal. And it says, Fire Breathing Kitten in Training.
Aw,
that's
Don't
cute.
work by yourself.
That's cool.
All right. It's been good, y'all. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Have you heard of Solutions from the Multiverse? This podcast features new, unheard of solutions to the world's biggest problems delivered to your ears weekly. Also, jokes. Hosts Adam Bross and Scott Maupin meet up each week. Adam brings a new idea to help the world, and Scott picks and prods at it with jokes and questions. The result is an informative and entertaining podcast that always gets you thinking. Here are some recent episode titles. Weapons of Minimal Destruction. falling sperm counts and memory foam, National Service Year, and bringing banishment back. The most recent review says, quote, love the playful approach to discussing solutions interspersed with just the nerdiest references and jokes. Delightful, end quote. Check out Solutions from the Multiverse, a podcast.